Thank you, Pyro Kitty's Tavern. I'm just over here talking to myself. Don't worry about me, guys. Just chatting at the computer like I do. I was just saying, I don't know about Coach. That's all I was saying, Geiger. I just kind of show up and hope, hope things go okay. I'm here to learn, just like everybody else. And I'm happy to have you guys here to learn with me. Thanks for being my art workout buddies. And we're going to do something different today. We're going to do, we talked a little bit last month about switching things up a little bit with warm-up studies and occasionally doing like tutorials or maybe some art foundations. So I figured we'd start off with something super basic today so that maybe people who don't normally feel like they can participate, maybe you'll feel a little more inspired to participate or at least try at home and draw along. This is going to be like a super foundational art study. Got a link up at the top of chat if anyone prefers like to look at the actual lesson. There's this awesome site called DrawaBox. It literally walks you through everything from like basic lines and how to handle your line and how to literally hold your hand while you draw, all the way up to like in-depth perspective lessons. So if you've ever wanted to do a refresher on art foundations, or if you're drawing for the first time, it's free. I mean, you can get extra stuff if you subscribe to their Patreon, I believe is how they do it, but it's free art education here online. So it's a really good one. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've never done it myself. I've got friends who've gone through it, friends of all different art skill levels, and everyone seems to have good things to say. So I figured I'd just try to do one with you guys. And I kind of briefly read through it this morning. We might watch the video together, perhaps. I haven't decided yet how I want to do that part. But mostly, what I pulled from it was talking about just the basic act of thinking about objects you're drawing from observation as three-dimensional objects. A lot of times here we talk about like studying versus copying, and I think this is thinking about drawing in this way is a great way to kind of break if you have a habit of copying that you're trying to break, or if you want to develop that skill separately. I think this is a great way to try and think about drawing if you aren't already doing that. But let me stop and say hi to everybody first. And always, of course, if you don't feel like doing a foundational study with me, please don't feel like you have to. You can always do any kind of study you want. As long as it's work safe, feel free to share it in the Discord at the end of stream, and I'll still share it on the screen. If I'm the only one who does this foundational study, you know what? That's totally fine. But as long as you guys are getting what you need out of it and you get some accountability to do some art this morning or this afternoon or whatever time it is for you, that's the goal. That's the goal. So if we've achieved that, then I'm happy. Let me scroll up and say hi to everybody first. Amaze, thank you again for pinning that and for being here. I appreciate you. Raga, you look a little sleepy with that little emote from Cinna. How you doing, Raga? Thanks for hanging out today. Paleontologist VA, hello. Slappy Salamander, hello. There's no time. You don't have to be at a certain time. Never late. Never late. The Slappy Salamander arrives precisely when it means to. Ray of Sun, howdy howdy, how you doing? I'm glad you enjoyed the music. Isol, hey, how's it going? Good to see ya. Thanks for being here, Pyro. As always, thanks for being here and for letting me know I was muted. Oh my gosh, and you guys have found the I keep forgetting to add a new game thing, but guys, I think I'm not charging you enough because you guys are hitting these goals way too fast. I think I need to raise the price on these game streams because here's the problem. Here's the problem, guys. I don't know when I'm going to be able to do a game stream next. But I guess whichever one of these two games hits the goal first is the one I'll do. And eventually I'll make a third option of voting on a new game once I have a date for when I can actually do that. And Geiger, how you doing? How you doing? Thanks, Danish Viking. How are you as well? Sorry I was muted, guys. I'm not a pro streamer. I always try to tell you this. I'm not a pro streamer. I'm not a pro artist. I just do stuff. And we're here on Twitch doing it together. Ulodnin, hey, how you doing? Cobra, howdy, welcome back in. Good to see ya. Hope you guys are doing good. I'm scrolling down. Doo. Okay. Arriving early makes it easier to learn. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I do always post these if anyone needs them. I post them on YouTube. I'm a little behind on the YouTube VODs. I think I've only made it to March. One of my goals this month is to schedule a whole bunch of videos to upload onto YouTube. But you can always check out my warm-up VODs from the very first one we ever did back in the end of January, I think, or early February, all the way up through hopefully eventually today. But yeah, anyway. Got to hang out with a good friend. Oh, good, Amaze. I'm glad. All right. So if you haven't had a chance to click that link and look at the DrawaBox page yet, I'm gonna pull it up over here. They work with New Masters Academy, which is like a really intense online art school, but this is sort of the basic free version in some forms. And you can watch this little video here if you'd like to. It kind of talks about the basics of like perspective grids and like objects in perspective, all that stuff. This is actually the second page, I think, of the lesson. This is the page that I linked up at the top of chat. So this is probably the page that you guys are looking at. But yeah, basically, this is what we're talking about today. So boxes, perspective. I figured what we're gonna do, I think, to kind of really break it down, is just talk about like basic shapes for a little bit and talk about value and lighting. This goes into like super deep detail if you really want like a total like fully fleshed out lesson. Go ahead and read through this. I'm not gonna read all this on stream, just because I feel like that would take the whole stream. But what I am going to do is pull some of the concepts I saw out of it, which is looking at reference images, and I think I'm going to start by trying to find the lines of perspective or the contour lines. So for example, you can see, no, I'm not going to read the whole thing, Amaze. It would take like an hour. But basically, I'm going to pull out some reference images. We're kind of going to do this for starters, just to like think about things as being dimensional. So this will be an easy one if you're not confident with your art skills at all. It'll be a lot of tracing for the first little bit. So go ahead, and if you'd like to, go find some reference if you need. Reference from my Pinterest board. You can always pull something from here. I'm going to be looking at objects, looking at like human figures, and looking at... what am I supposed to be reading, Amaze? Did I miss something in chat? Or do you mean read the lesson? I'm not going to read the whole lesson on stream. It's not happening, if that's what you're referencing. Hey Charzia, how's it going? Good to see ya. Hope you're doing well. We are doing a basic foundational study today. You can see a link to the top of chat. If you guys want to read it, you can go right ahead and read. I think that would take a lot of time, so I'm not going to do that. I might watch part of the video on stream. I was kind of watching through some of them this morning. I got a little bit late into the studio because there was a thing that came up that I had to deal with right before I left the apartment, of course. So I didn't have quite as much time as I thought I was going to kind of get everything set up. But what I did get to watch looked pretty good. So like I said, you can follow along with me, or you can just honestly mute me if you'd like to, or turn the volume down. Don't mute me because I like the lyrics. The lyrics help. But you know, if you have to, that's fine too. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some basic objects. So you can look through I have like an objects folder, I have a structures folder, I have a humans folder. So there's all kinds of stuff. But really quick, I did want to talk about how you can apply this to a reference and why it's important to study and think about drawing this way before you look at a reference picture. So I'm trying to find a good one to show you this with, just like a basic. Yeah, we'll just do this one. So for example, if I was looking at this image of a deer, right? If I'm only thinking about copying and I'm only thinking about like drawing the lines that I see, it's going to be really hard to make it not look like a flat image. So you see this a lot with people who are first starting to draw. And I mean, heck, I fall into this too sometimes as well. It's just a very basic thing to do. But for example, if I'm only thinking about like the contour lines of this animal and I'm only focusing on copying, it's gonna look flat, right? Like I'm not gonna be thinking about perspective or dimension. Wow, this is not my best drawing, guys, but hopefully you know what I mean, right? It's just gonna feel very much like a coloring book page almost, where you're just not gonna understand enough about the form to actually be able to infer things from the study. So that's part of why we start with anatomy. But thinking about it like this, so take a reference image, and I would start with something more basic than this. I highly recommend finding like some cylinders, like some spherical objects, you know, some really basic objects to do this with first, which is what I'll do in a second. But I just wanted to talk about how this can help in the long run, because I know a lot of times people don't want to do these foundational studies because they feel like they are irrelevant. It's like, why am I going to spend time drawing a bunch of cylinders and boxes? I'm never going to draw that. Well, you are, or you're just not going to think about it that way necessarily. But if you think about like apply these contour lines, if you apply this to a reference image as you're, like, visually as you're looking at it, excuse me guys, I'm so sorry. You're gonna have to reconcile the fact that, like, you know, these animals and these objects here, they aren't just flat images, right? They try to think of them as three-dimensional. I always like to say when I draw, I feel like I'm sculpting with my pencil. It's kind of how I've always drawn. And I think that actually helps quite a bit because basically, Andrew, thank you. Wait, Andrew wait, hold on, I can't read your name. Well, thank you for following, Andrew. I like your name. But yeah, if you're thinking about things as having, like, mass and weight and depth, not just height and length, because if you're looking at things in 2 dimensions, it's already broken down for you in, like, length and height, right? You're missing the depth portion, the part that goes away from the view. And so it's easy to forget that that's part of it. But if I'm thinking about depth as I'm drawing this, I'm thinking about, okay, I'm seeing a shadow here because there's a bone, right, that sticks out toward the viewer and it creates a shadow underneath. Or, you know, the head curves this way, so that means there's going to be a shadow here. I'm thinking about this as though I was holding a sculpture of this deer, right? So, like, if I'm looking at a sculpture, I can see where the light is hitting the form to create shadow and to create highlight. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what is up with my voice today. Hold on. Clearly, I need to hydrate. What I'm trying to say is I want you to go find some basic images. I would find some basic objects first and start drawing some contour lines just to practice. If this is something, especially if it's something that you've never done before or never thought about, you might want to do it on a few objects and just practice that. And then I want you to go ahead and, like, draw those objects just like this image. So draw them, and then again, once you've drawn them, do it after you've done your contour lines, and we'll do that part together. So it's going to be pretty basic today. And again, guys, if somebody is watching this, you're like, I really don't feel like I want this or need this right now, you know, do whatever you'd like for your study. But for me, I think today I'm going to go back to the basics, because once we can understand form and understand, like, that this curve is coming toward the viewer and this part of the curve is going away from the viewer, it's going to really help you understand value and how light hits objects. Part of why I like this image is that you can really see it. Like, somebody drew this on their arm and then took various, and this talks a lot about foreshortening, obviously, but you can also see how it affects light just by watching how this green line right here changes shape, changes line based on, you know, how they're holding their hand. So anyway, go ahead and find your objects. Hopefully that made sense. And if it didn't, I apologize. But I'm gonna go find some basic objects. If you're having trouble navigating my Pinterest board, there is a reference objects folder. But if you can't find it, I will link that in chat. And there should be some pretty basic ones in here. Let me see. Yeah, so I've got some spheres, I've got some rocks. There's some things that are cylinders. There's some windows. Actually, I don't know. The weapons, there's a weapons folder. Anyway, I'm gonna pull just from a basic sphere. I think we've actually drawn this one before. But if you click, or if you just type in sphere, you probably don't even need that. Here's a really good one. I'm gonna pin this one really fast. Oh, that's okay. It's okay. I'll just pin a couple of really basic objects into the objects folder really fast. If you guys are already in there, go ahead and refresh. There should be a few extras. But I'm just trying to find, like, basic shapes. Like basic vases, basic bottles, basic, you know, things that are going to be easy for you to look at and see the contour. These are all objects hopefully you've encountered at some point in your life. And so you have some physical familiarity with the depth and the weight and the dimension that it might have. But there you go. I've just pinned a few. So go ahead and pick some. I'm going to do this one because it's very square. I like this one. And you can even, if you're working digitally, now if you're working traditionally, you'll have to just draw from it. You won't be able to do the tracing part. But I'm sure if you're working, you know, traditionally, you can look around you and see an object as well. You don't have to use just flat images, guys. This would be a great opportunity to draw your water bottle, to draw a glass, you know, anything like that, and then just practice drawing those contours. And then you can do some lighting and some value study too if you'd like to. Santroa, Australian bustard, yes! Let's do it. I actually do know what this is. I just looked at a video of one the other day. But I already knew what they were because Cory bustards are one of my favorite animals. They're the largest, I think the heaviest bird that can fly, basically. Yeah, Trezia, that's kind of my hope. Trezia says it's really nice to see a fundamental stream. It's very productive to repeat, even for someone who has been drawing. Yes, no, I agree. And I really don't study the fundamentals as much as I should. And that's the thing. Like, you always have, anytime you go over a topic, whether you're having to just go over it for yourself or, like in my position, having to explain it verbally, like I'm having to process it. It's kind of like when I was teaching, when I would teach like basic color theory. Even though it was really basic, it actually did improve my understanding of color theory. Just because fundamentals are helpful to reinforce to yourself. You never advance to a point where it's not important to occasionally revisit this stuff. Because it'll just help kind of reset any bad habits, you know, any schema that you may have developed on accident, if I can use my favorite word. And so yeah, hopefully it's helpful. I'm glad that you like it, yeah. Okay. So go ahead and, like, probably some of you have already started, and that's totally fine. Did I figure out rulers? No, I didn't have time. That was one of the things I was gonna do before the stream, but no. I've not figured out how to do a straight line in Krita, but we're gonna learn together. That's what's gonna happen. I had to deal with something this morning at the apartment that was not pleasant, so I just yeah, didn't have time to get to it. Okay. Ooh, let's do an apple. An apple's a good object. Okay, hopefully I've pinned enough objects for you guys. You can go find your own objects too, though, so please don't rely only on my objects. Here's a more complex object. Stacked objects. Yes, there is a way to make a straight line, Charzia. I think I know how to do it. It's just when I did it on my Huion at home, it was I messed up the hotkeys on my Krita. I don't know if we're gonna go into full perspective drawing. I mean, maybe a little bit. No, Shift doesn't do that on Krita. It's like a different key. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. Don't worry. The worst case scenario, I can always open up Clip Studio. No, I think I know how. I mean, it's like, it's this thing. Where did it go? This one? This one. It's just really weird in Krita. Like, I don't know how to, like, this is for 2-point perspective, right? So like, I can figure that part out. But I don't really know if I want to go this advanced because not everybody has this, and I want to try and make sure I'm just doing basic, like, I'll just be using the straight line tool, probably. I'll get there, guys. I'll get there. No sweat. But Amaze, if you have any tips that you want to share, of course, you have much more familiarity with Krita than I do, so please feel free. Let's see. Okay, I think I pinned enough things. So let's go ahead and do the thing. Use a line that will hopefully stand out here. So again, if you're just starting this out, all I really want you guys to do for the first one, if you want to start super basic, is basically this. So you're finding an object, a couple of objects. You can do like a still life or something if you'd like. And I just want you to do a tracing first, especially if you're super new to drawing, and just see if you can find like the box, right? So find the box or find the sphere or the cylinder or whatever. We're more worried about just form, basically. And then once you've done the tracing, go ahead and try and draw it. So this is like a practice. And even if you can't see the line, like right here, I can still see where the curvature of the glass is, and I can connect that square, right? And I want you to think about it like it's a 3-dimensional object, okay? So we got that part, but then we've also got right here this cylinder shape here up top. And then once you've done your form study, right, then I want you to take it and like do a separate drawing. So again, this is like super basic. If you just want to draw a straight line, there's a tool in Krita. Yes, there is. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I'm familiar. Like I said, my Huion wouldn't let me do this the other day. Yeah, Trezia, no, I'm aware. Thank you. No, don't worry. If we get to actual perspective drawing, I will use the straight line ruler. Yes. We're starting super basic, Trezia. So like I said, you can do whatever you want. Like anybody can do whatever they want. Don't feel like you have to follow along with me. I know that there's a lot of people that are like at all stages of drawing. So if you want to be super basic, I'm starting with just like a basic object study and how to think about it like 3 dimensions. So that's part of why I want people to find an object and just practice finding those lines on the object. Because some people, like people who've drawn for a long time, this might come naturally to you. But people who haven't done it before, that's something that it's hard to think about. Like a lot of people, when they look at a picture like this, I think this is part of why people fall into copying so much versus like not knowing how to study, is because you're not used to having your brain think about something as an object in dimension. And so, like I said, there's a link at the top if anybody wants to follow along like super, super closely with the actual DrawaBox lessons. I'm just going to skip to the part that is like the practice stage of this. And then you can take it however far. If you don't want to do this and you want to jump right into perspective drawing, go for it. I'm just going to go super slow. So I'm going to be going really slow today. But yes, I will, if we make it to that before my hour runs out, then I will get into like perspective gridding and stuff. And I do know where that is in Krita, so don't fret, guys. Don't fret. Have faith. A little faith. Not much faith, because like I say, I'm not a pro. I'm not a pro. But I'm trying to show examples for people at all stages of this. What do I mean by copying? Yeah, that's a great question. Let me pull up another really basic. Oh, here's a nice little object. So, but Geiger, by copying, what I mean is people, so when you look at a reference, sometimes you see people who are really, really good at copying an image, like precisely. But they're not super good at drawing from imagination. And what I feel like might be true is that what they've done is they've trained their brain just to copy from a reference, but not being able to actually draw from imagination, because they're not dedicating that information that they're looking at as a study. Really, it's more about just like imitating what's there. And so what we're trying to do here is kind of break those habits and start thinking about these things as objects to study or things to study. Does that make sense, Geiger? Yeah. So like I know people who have been drawing for years, and they do amazing, like you find it a lot with I don't know, people who have only ever done hyperrealism, and then they find that they have trouble drawing from imagination because they've trained their brain so much to like carefully observe, but to only observe in one way. And it's really important to be able to observe to that level of detail, but it's also important to be able to observe in a way that you can actually retain that information for future work. So that's a lot of times why we start, when we do creatures or people, we start with like skeletal studies or muscular studies, because it helps you actually learn what you're looking at in the reference instead of just focusing on copying things line for line. So yeah. Okay. So I've got my little, I'm trying to lower the opacity so you can see it. I've got my little jar, I've got my little freehand study here of just like where the lines are. And then I'm going to go on another layer. I'm going to move this really fast. Boop. Okay. And I'm going to do another one. And so the hope is that by doing a tracing and then also doing, you know, like another one that isn't a tracing, you're going to be able to apply what you just learned. So I'm going to be doing 2, and then I'm going to be doing some value on this one. I should have probably picked something a little more matte for this first one. Sorry guys, I keep telling you, I'm not a pro. Didn't have as much time to plan for this as I wanted to. That's okay. So like with this object in particular, I've got my box, right? It's the box that we drew just a second ago. You can use your ellipse tools and you can use your line tools if you like. But basically, once you've got your basic box, or 2, whatever your object is, then you can start kind of adding in some details. So like, for example, looking at mine, obviously this is a rounded cube. It's not a perfectly square cube. So when I go to like actually do the drawing, I can start rounding the edges and adding value and that kind of thing. I probably really should have picked a more simple object to start with. Sorry that I jumped right into like a more complex one. But hopefully this makes sense, even if you're just working on like a sphere or something that is like a solid color that's not see-through. Hopefully it still is helpful. And then if we have time, I'd like to eventually get up here into like perspective on a building and do the same thing with like a building. I also really like the idea of doing an orthographic drawing. But I don't know if we're gonna have time for that. This feels like more like doing like an architecture study and being a little more precise. Found a ref that's a good application. Nice, nice. Feel free to link it. Do you have the tool options docker? I don't know. Yes, I have it right here. It says show preview, show guideline. Yeah, I have those things. We'll see though if I even get to a building. I think I might only make it to like objects and foreshortening because for me I really wanted to focus on. This is kind of like to me when I pulled these images this morning here, this is kind of the staging, and I could be totally wrong on this, but this is kind of how I felt like it went from like difficulty, right? So it's like stage 1 is just like basic objects, stage 2 be organic objects like arms, humans, animals, and then stage 3 would be like an actual full out talking about 2-point perspective, 3-point perspective, like all that stuff. I don't know that we'll make it all the way to this, but we can definitely do this another day if we don't make it to that today. So that's why I wasn't too fussed about, trying to figure out everything. I wanted to, but like I said, I had to deal with some stuff and wasn't able to get in early this morning, unfortunately, so it may just have to get shelved until I have time to prepare. Yeah, just try as you're looking. Don't try not to copy. Try to think of it as a 3-dimensional object that you can like feel with your hands, and apply that to the drawing, right? So don't worry so much about. Yeah, thank you, Trezia. Always feel free if you guys ever find references and stuff that's helpful, put it in the stream event chat. Yeah, thank you for doing that. But I want to encourage you, if you haven't, if anyone is kind of newer to drawing, or if you just haven't thought about drawing in this way before, really try to think about what you're drawing as like a form as you're drawing it. Whether it's something you're looking at from observation, like a still life, like something around you, or if you're drawing like I am from like a flat image, you can still apply all these same concepts. If you go into the tool options, there's oh, okay, nice. If you go into the tool options while having the assistant tool selected, I don't see any of that now suddenly. I did see it there before, so I'll mess with it again in a little bit. Maybe I have to have the line tool. Yeah. I don't see assistant tool. I see snap to assistant. I see show guidelines, show preview, use sensors. Yeah, I'll have to figure it out in a minute once I get it. If I get to the perspective grid tool for the buildings, then I'll do that then. I still don't even know how to, I don't know how that thing pops up. Oh, here we go. How do I get rid of it? There's a lot of Krita noobery happening here too, guys. Yeah, you could use perspective to draw your actual shapes too. That's true, Charzia. If anybody really wants extra guidelines, use your perspective tools. I don't really know how to teach that quickly if you're not using digital. It is a lot easier to do that quickly digitally, but you can do perspective drawing for everything. Traditionally, it just takes a lot more like rulers and tools and things. But yeah, you could draw like a horizon line with your ruler and actually do like a perspective, like a drawing in perspective if you really wanted to for your cylinder. If anyone's confused about what Charzia is talking about, like it sounds like she put some really nice, I haven't looked at them yet, but I'm sure they're great. Really nice references. But you have your horizon line, right? And again, that link to DrawaBox, if anybody really wants like a super in-depth version of this, like I'm just doing a very basic, we're just trying to trying to practice thinking about objects as three-dimensional. I'm not even like ready to go into all that, but if you want to, there's the DrawaBox lesson, there's stuff in stream event chat. Thanks again, Charzia, for posting that. But yeah, basically you could use straight lines and rulers and things to draw an object sitting in front of a horizon line or on top of a horizon line to actually like draw your cylinder. So you could do all kinds of things. Whoops. But yeah, I'm not gonna go quite that in depth, I think, right now. Okay. So there's my first one. If I was gonna really like finish it, I'd go in and you know, I'd start actually rounding the corners and doing some value, but I just want to do a few objects first, just to kind of get in the habit. Again, all I'm trying to reinforce right now is to just think about things you're looking at as three-dimensional objects, right? So I made this way too short. But yeah, just trying to get out of the habit. That's all I'm trying to talk about right now, is like getting out of the habit of copying. And the way that you do that, I think, is by thinking about them as a three-dimensional object that you're just trying to look through a window. That's kind of how DrawaBox stated it, and I really liked that. It's almost like you're looking at through a window. You're not just, don't think about your paper as like a flat piece of paper. Like you're looking through something to view a three-dimensional object, right? And so you're just trying to replicate that. So if I was really gonna like finish this drawing, I'd start adding the details, like rounding the corners and using my boxes and stuff to like more accurately represent this. But I'm gonna move on to another object just to show, and I'm gonna pick a more simple, not see-through object this time. And Sandro, I will get to your draw me an animal. I'm just gonna wait a second for it. Let me go back to my reference objects folder. Oh, you mean draw the box to make the cylinder? Yeah, that's a good point. You could definitely do that too. Okay. Here's some really like basic shapes. I really want like a solid. Ooh, here's a really good one. Ouch. Sorry, that was a painful hiccup. Here's a nice little object set. And again, I know it's like, this is part of why this kind of stuff is not super fun for artists usually to draw. Just because it seems really boring, and like it's not really gonna help you, but it really will. Help you think about, especially if you're like really like newer to drawing. If you haven't thought about thinking of things as three-dimensional objects, this is gonna really, really help. Help your freehand drawing, help your studies, all that stuff. But even for people like me who've been drawing for a long time, like I don't do this often enough, and that's part of why we have these study sessions, because I need to do them more. And let me see. You can't type. It's okay. I can't type ever. I feel like anytime I go in somebody's chat, part of it is that like right now I keep having my keyboard keeps sticking, and I just cleaned it, so I'm not sure why it's still doing that. But yeah, these are great. So Charzia just posted some really nice stuff about 2 points, like 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point perspective. Yeah, these are great, Charzia. Thanks for finding those. And you can use these to draw, like she was saying, like a cylinder or box or anything. If you put everything fits into a box. It's kind of the idea behind DrawaBox also. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay. You have had fun with perspective since high school. Oh, really? Do you like doing? I always hated doing perspective drawings. I'm not gonna lie. It was like my least favorite assignment in art class. Oh, I can cheat. Draw a little square. Anyway. I mean, I can try to use this tool. I just don't. So you can actually you can have it. Here, like in Krita, it can help you draw ellipses like this. It's a pretty handy little tool, it looks like. I just, I feel like I'm gonna spend my whole time just like not see it's doing. I can't. It's making new lines when I try to delete. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But if you are using Krita, see, it keeps making multiples. How do I get it to not make multiples? You can use this nice little perspective tool. It's working way better here than it did on my Huion. I think I really messed up my hotkeys or something on Huion because it's like I couldn't get it to do any of this when we tried to do it the other day. Krita is a free program, Paleontologist VA. Yeah. So if you wanted to go play with it, you sure could. It's Krita, Krita, by the way, for anybody who doesn't have it. But there's other ones too. There's like Fire Alpaca. I don't know. There's probably a lot of free programs out there, or like cheap one-time buy programs. But like you could use this perspective grid that it's got right here to like line up your objects basically. What I'd like to get to. Oh no, it's doing a weird thing, guys. Why is it doing that? I don't know why it's doing that. But yeah, so if I wanted to draw like a straight edged box that was like perfectly lined up with something, I could do something like this and use the perspective grid to like help with all of that, and then I could do a smaller version. So these are really helpful. I do still think it's something that you should hopefully be able to get to without needing all of this, but if you're having trouble kind of visualizing perspective, things like this can be really helpful. Except for now I can't see nothing. Why are you like this, Krita? Sometimes Krita's not nice to me, guys. Anyway, so hopefully that makes sense. So that's like a straight on box in perspective, like if your horizon line is right here. So that's what this is. The horizon line, by the way, just to do a quick like overview for anyone who doesn't know, the horizon line is always your eye level, basically, and this point in the center. How do I get rid of this grid? It's actually bothering me now. It's in the way. I don't know how to do it. Go away. There we go. So your horizon line is always like, if you were to look outside, it's where the sky meets the ground, and then wherever your eye is like exactly lined up to is kind of the point, right? Anyways, that's what all this stuff is, if you were wondering. Make sure you snap to assistant. Yeah, I think it was. Maybe not. Yeah, no, yeah, I don't. I'll have to play with this more some other time, but I don't want to spend too much time messing with tools either on stream. Like I said, I'm not even sure that I'm going to get to it. Like, I really wanted to use this if we were going to do like a 2-point perspective drawing of some buildings. And it would definitely be helpful for like parsing out a really complex building study, which hopefully we'll get to, if not today, sometime. But I don't have time right now. No, Paleontologist VA. But I am walking everyone through it right now. So this would be my walk through it. But yeah, I mean, you're watching me figure it out. So I've never used the perspective tool in Krita before because I couldn't get it to work when I was working at my home studio. I forget what we were drawing. We were drawing something, and I was trying to use it. Oh, I think it was when we did our architecture study, and I just got frustrated and freehanded the whole thing. That's what happened. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, there's probably videos online, Paleontologist VA. That's where I would start. Just type in perspective tool Krita, which is what I need to do as well, which is why I'm not really qualified to walk you or anybody through it, because I'm figuring it out as you are watching me. So, okay. You had fun with it, just doing random shapes, huh, Chevy? Well, that's good. That's good. If you want your lines, okay, yeah. Well, thanks, Amaze. I appreciate your patience with me. But again, guys, just a reminder, like, especially if you're new to drawing, or if you're just starting out, I still recommend going in and actually just freehand tracing over the object, just to get, it's like, so muscle memory is a part of this, right? Like, there is value in just knowing like how the curvature of things work, or what the angle feels like. And this is going to help you train your eye to be better. There's ways that you can like trick yourself too with some of this. You can like line up your pencil. You see a lot of, like, in old movies and stuff, you'd see artists like holding up their pencils with something to check the angles or check the lines. You can totally do that. And then you can, just use this line to kind of figure out where those two meet behind, since this is a stacked object. And you can use perspective lines again, like if you really wanted to get super you could actually draw out your perspective lines too. So like, if I wanted to put this in perspective and I was doing this freehand, like on a piece of paper or something, here's something you can also do. So see how I've got my, this one's a little bit off because I think I traced the wrong thing here. So all these lines sort of meet right here. So there's my vanishing point, right? And so you could do the same thing off this way. Hopefully that makes sense for anybody for whom this is like new. And the nice thing about this is you can use that vanishing point, right, to like find the hidden line. So like that's where the hidden line is of this box. Hopefully that makes sense. And you can do the same thing over here. Now I don't know where my vanishing point is. It's probably up there somewhere. But anyway, hopefully that is making sense to you guys. But again, if you want to go into like the nitty-gritty details of perspective, I probably don't have time to do all of that in my 1 hour stream because we're already an hour in, so I've only got 30 minutes left. So I'm probably just going to stick to contour lines today, and then we'll go more into like perspective drawing another day when we look at buildings or something. But you can use them to draw a box or a cube or anything. But just again, I just want you guys to be, especially if you're not in the habit of doing this, to start thinking about exactly what this drawing is showing and exactly what this person is showing. Just thinking about things as having dimension. So not just, because basically what we're trying to do is train our brains not to just think about outlines. So like a lot of times when people draw, they just draw the outline of an object. Try to think of it more as like, these are shapes, right? These are ovals, these are circles, they're things that make up the whole. And so if you can think about that, it makes it so much easier to be like, you know, we talk about this a lot when we do like muscle studies and skeletal studies, just drawing the big shapes first and finding those shapes, and then think about those shapes as having form. I bet a really good way to look at this would be to like take a volleyball or something. Because volleyballs, and there's like some types of things like that have these lines already, but I think volleyballs tend to like have contour lines basically around the whole ball. Pumpkins would be a good one probably. Okay, and one thing we haven't talked about yet that I did want to touch on before I do a little quick study of just some objects. I might just do this one honestly, but I wanted to talk about value. Let me move this. Slide it up there. Okay. So I especially want to talk about like how to make like your shading and your values and stuff look a little more realistic. So if you're looking at like this sphere, I'm just gonna use the ellipse tool to draw a sphere really fast. So I've got my sphere, right? It might be tempting to like take that at first and just, you know, do some kind of just do like some kind of blanket shading, right? Wait, that's not and just say, okay, there's my value. But there's actually a lot more going on in this sphere than just that, right? So if I'm looking at this sphere, I see a lot of things happening. I see, first of all, we have a really strong light source up here, right? We've got this bright highlight. This is the brightest part of the sphere right there. You've got this nice like middle toned, which I've already toned my paper by having that background sort of a middle gray, so that's just, I'm gonna just say that's the gray. But you've also got bounce light, right? You've got stuff reflecting off of the object beneath it, and then you've got areas that are darker, areas that are lighter, and so just try, I mostly want to focus about today, I think, just because I'm short on time, thinking about like things as being three-dimensional and how to imply that with thinking about shape as you're drawing, right? And what's going on with value, like how to handle value. And there's like a ton of really good resources on all the specifics of different types of lighting, but basically if you know where your strongest light source is, like if you know where this is, it's gonna impact everything else, right? So the strongest source is right here on this square. Let me draw the square really fast too. I'll use my straight line tool so that Amaze is proud of me. See, look, Amaze, I can draw a straight line. Oh, no, I can't. Hold on. Okay. I should take, why is it, hold on. See, I can't use, it's not, okay, Crit is doing that thing again. This is what it did last time I tried to use it. It's doing the same thing it was doing at home. Why does it do that? It's really annoying. See, this is what happened last time, guys, and I got frustrated and just freehanded. Because it's doing the thing. Is it? I don't have it set to snap to anything, so why is it... Does it use sensors? Is that what it's doing? Oh, maybe it's the sensors. Okay, yeah, sensors. Okay, I don't know what that means, but we're turning it off because it's making me draw lines I don't want to draw. Looking at your studies, and oh, thank you, by the way, Thorneth78. I appreciate that follow. Thank you. Welcome on in. Rue says, looking at my studies and thinking it's a little rough in terms of strict perspective lines, like a quick hand understanding of the object's dimensions. I'm not sure what I think. I'm not sure what you mean, but I'm sure you're doing a good job. Oh, nope, it's doing it again. Why is it? What is this? Why? Amaze. If I'm using a straight line, why is it bending? Why is it doing that? Do you see what's happening? What? This is not what I'm trying to draw. Okay, you guys see this, right? Like, this is why I don't trust line tools. What the? Do you see how there's like a bend in it? What is going on? There are certain angles it's snapping to, but I have literally everything turned off. I have all the snaps turned off. And it's on its own layer. There's nothing... What the heck? It's making it more complicated. I just want a straight line. What? Right, Jersey? This is what happened last time. It's like, I give up. I don't have time to figure this out right now. Okay. I'm sure it's a really powerful tool if I just wasn't so dense. I'm sure there's something really obvious happening that, like, you know, it is snapping to something, but like, what I don't understand is why is it bending? Do you guys see how it's bending right there? Like, it's literally adding like this is the direction the line should be going, and it added like a downturn. Clip Studio. Yeah, I do need to learn how to do it in Clip Studio probably too. Just zoom in. Oh yeah, that does seem to fix it. That is... Nope. Amaze. It's still doing it. What is it? Okay. I don't want to spend... I'm just going to freehand it, guys. I'm sorry. I know it would be better if I wasn't freehanding it. I tried to make you proud, Amaze, but I'm just not going to mess with the... Oh no, now I'm doing it. Maybe there's like a hidden bump here on this layer. Nope. I don't know what's going on. It's throwing off my mojo. Okay, anyway. So, gonna draw my box. Draw a box, guys. Just draw a box. Like I said, though, I highly recommend the draw. I know a few people have said, I think even in our little Discord community, that they've done the DrawaBox. Was it Suntroa? I can't remember who it was. Somebody said they were starting it, and that it was pretty good. I'm just gonna make this bigger. Nope. Not with that, I'm not. There we go. Okay. What I'm trying to get to is the value. I just want to talk about value. For anybody, especially for anybody who's not used to thinking about the complexity of value, really, like, white objects like this are really easy to see all the value scale in, because you can see everything from the lightest lights to the darkest darks, right? So you always have, like, whatever side is not facing the source of light, which in this case is over here. Just pretend there's like a light shining right over here. Or it'd actually be a little higher and be up here. But whatever. You guys know what I mean. There's a light source hitting the ball right here. So basically whatever side of the object, right, that's opposite of that is going to be the darkest. However, if you look really closely, like even in these dark areas, there is color. Like you see that it's slightly darker here and it's brighter up here. That's bounce light. That is the light hitting this wood, and it's bouncing back up here, right? So think about all that stuff as you're doing your if you just get used to paying attention to that, when you go to do like an actual drawing of something, you'll be able to apply some of the stuff that you're looking at in these studies to like animals, people, like settings, environments, all that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm trying to point it out. That's why I tried to draw all these, use all these grids and things to try and just draw a box. Oops, that's the wrong color. So like I want to talk about a value, because the reason value is important is because this also is going to lend believability to your drawing, right? This is going to help it look like it's actually physically present. I've got all my layers messed up now. I'm all flustered. Ah, the fluster is real. So yeah, so once you've done a few contour studies, whether it was like objects or like somebody's hand or a figure or something more complex, hopefully you've done a few contour drawings at this point and you're ready to start doing like an actual drawing. And I would like to encourage you to make that drawing still of a simple object and just make it like a good value study of that object. So you can use like this image, this is on my Pinterest. There's like millions of images like this. You've got like cones, you could do cylinders, you could do all kinds of stuff. But I do encourage you to find something that's like matte, and maybe, I mean, if you feel really ambitious, maybe do like a glass object, but try to keep it like a simple geometrical shape so that you can practice thinking about it in 3 dimensions and apply like the thinking of contour, like the thinking of it being physically there. Try to really focus on that as you're drawing and not just worry about copying. That's kind of the main thing I wanted to drive home today. And then in about 20 minutes, we will look at any studies you guys did. Now, again, if you just got here or if you're watching and you're like, I didn't really feel like doing this study today, and I did some other study, that's totally fine. It's totally fine. I want to reiterate that. I never want anyone to feel like if they don't do what I'm doing, that they're somehow not doing the right thing. Like, it does not mean that you have to do what I'm doing. I do not care. The whole purpose of these warm-up sessions, these art gym sessions, is to encourage artists or people trying to become artists just to pull out a pencil and study something, whether it's a foundational lesson, a tutorial. I clearly need to go through a tutorial about perspective grids and Krita. I don't know if I'll do that on stream, but sometime, maybe, if I ever have time. Time is an elusive beast. Oh, we have an ad. I'm so sorry. I didn't even see the ad. But yeah, just try and get some kind of a study done today. And if you can do something with like value or form, something that really helps you kind of focus on that stuff, that's what I'm encouraging, but that by no means is what you have to do. This is not like an official art class or something. This is just a bunch of people trying to get better at stuff together. And even like the little texture in this sphere is kind of interesting to me. I can see little divots where the like kind of around the light, where like this whatever this is, this painted sphere, it's got like some little pock marks. Kind of fun. And that's where your like highly tuned observation eye can come in. Like I'm sure there's all kinds of things. Like I got little like there's like scratches and all kinds of stuff I could include if I really wanted to texture this. And so that's why it's important to not only learn how to really closely observe detail like you would if you were doing hyperrealism, but also just to learn how to study so that you know how to apply it and so that you can take this information and do this on your own elsewhere. Okay. And I also want to point out something that I struggle with for sure, and I'm sure maybe other people do too. Sometimes my bounce light is I go too bright with it. And I'm trying to actually find all the color myself and all the values myself today. I'm trying not to color pick because I want to really try and keep it. One, this has got some hue in it, so it's got like, you know, browns and yellows. I want to try and keep it grayscale because it challenges me to actually like pay attention to where things are changing slightly. But also just trying to do your own value choices without color picking can help train your brain to actually be able to recognize those things quicker and not need the assistance of a pick. So, as somebody who often uses the color picker, I know that I need to study that more too. So there's lots of ways to stretch your creative muscles, but it's not just you think the best option would be paper. It might be easier, honestly. I feel like in some ways it's, if you know how to use your tools, maybe it's easier to use digital, but paper and a ruler could be just as effective. But trains your hand more? Maybe, yeah. I think there is definitely something to the muscle memory of doing stuff. And also something that I'm really bad at, I'm curious how you guys do this. Something that I haven't thought about in a while, but I probably should, is kind of how I'm drawing. So there's like 2 ways to move your pencil, basically. There's like using just wrist movements, right? So like when you're drawing, you're just like, let me get it where you can see, just like doing this. Or you can do like whole hand movements. And I know whole hand, like using your whole arm, I say whole hand, whole arm is what I mean to say. Supposedly like whole arm movements are what they always encourage. I feel like I have a better time doing that when I'm drawing traditionally, but when I'm working digitally, so often my elbow is resting on something. Do you guys find that's true for you too? Or is that just me? Maybe everybody else is really good at using their whole arm and their shoulder to draw digitally, and I'm just over here like a noob. But that's also something that you could think about. Sorry, my chair is like... I should make it taller. Eh. Okay. So not only do you have bounce light coming off the table here, so like as you're drawing, hopefully you've, if you're working on this or a piece like this, you've probably noticed, like, for example, I'm seeing that there is more of this light closer to the shadow part, which is like, because that's the closest it is to that color, that bright light. But I'm also noticing, like up here, we've got some lighter color inside this shadow. So if you zoom in a little bit, you can see it a little better probably. Shoulder for sure, that's how you draw. But now that way of drawing is making it hard to draw on any smaller screens when I'm not home. Yeah, I feel like when I'm doing like big, I'm trying to think of how I paint. Like if I were painting like a big area on my Cintiq, I would use my whole arm. But so often I'm doing like, I feel like detailed work, and with detailed work, I just feel like I very rarely pick up my elbow. That's actually why I have like an elbow pad right here by my keyboard, so that I don't like bruise my elbow from drawing all day. So I know that I'm mostly a wrist drawer, and it's probably not the best habit. I'm also not sure if that increases repetitive injuries, so it's probably something I need to think about more. Rue says for long swiping curves and shapes, our whole arm is easier, but yeah, it depends on what you're drawing for sure. But I do feel like even I'm trying to think when we did our still life, only for like the little tiny like shading parts was I using just my wrist. Usually when I'm at an easel, I think I'm more using my whole, even if it's a small page. I feel like I use my whole arm more. I don't know. I'll have to like pay more attention to that. I was just curious what you guys have noticed about your own drawing habits. Also, apparently this is totally unrelated to art. Sorry, I'm tangenting and derailing slightly. That never happens here. I definitely didn't run away to go show you guys my rock collection yesterday or anything. But apparently this song was voted, like some people find, like apparently for some people this song is like on the top most annoying songs list. If you, I had no idea. I don't mind it. It's not like my favorite song. What's a schema? Oh gosh, Darcina. I answered that yesterday. You don't need more time to draw. I've been rambling this whole time. I spent like 5 minutes fighting with the line tool in Krita. It's too funny. You use your wrist for everything? A ray of sun, and the whole arm for long straight lines. Oh, interesting. Wait, so you use your wrist for, like, even the big things? Charzia, that cat is terrifying. Oh my gosh. This is too funny. Love your red cat emotes. I know it says crying. It's your crying avatar. But it's so small, all I see is like red cat. Oh my gosh. That is hilarious. Sometimes your wrist hurts if you zoom out and start making small details. Oh, well then maybe I think it's just the red. I think it's just the red, the whole face being red. If you like lightened up the face a little and maybe like drew like big tears on it. Because when I click it, I can totally see that it looks all sad and sparkly-eyed. It is funny. It is funny. It's just crying was not my first thought. You also made this one? Oh, let's look at it. Oh, I love it. That's cute. I need to go look at your emotes. I haven't seen your emotes yet. Oh, really, Sloppy Salamander? So you started working from the elbow. Okay, so Sloppy Salamander says, pointing out that the wrist versus elbow thing made Sloppy start working from the elbow, and it made a difference. Well, cool. Well, I like them. The thumbs up one reads for sure. I always struggle with that, though. Like, I feel like half of my emotes don't read really well, and I kind of want to redo some of them. Especially the Reese ones. I feel like they were not made to be this small. I basically took like giant stickers and just shrunk them down that I had already had, so a lot of them don't read really well. I'm pretty sure that I don't know if the winking one really reads. I don't know. I do like the screaming one. Yeah, that one reads. You also sometimes use... Wait, hold on. I think I missed something. So Amaze you also do for long swiping curves and shapes. You use your whole arm. I guess I just don't... that's a bad habit of mine. Like, I don't have a habit of thinking about how I'm holding my utensil while I'm drawing. It's probably something I need to think about. I'm sure it's like a repetitive use injury thing too. Like, I'm sure if you modulate or whatever, that'll help with that. So something I always notice about shadows is oftentimes like closer to the object, and probably a lot of you've already noticed this too, but closer, like if you're closer to where the edge of the object is, that shadow is going to be really, really stark. And a lot of times you find that the brightest points of light are right next to a really dark point of shadow. Like right here, I'm seeing that really clearly, and even a little bit on here. And then the light tends to kind of fade. I think some of that is that the light is like hitting that object and it's maybe a little bit of reflected light too. But it's something to keep in mind, like if you ever go to do a drawing that has like a very reflective object, it's something you can think about. Same thing down here, like this lighter gray, it's the brightest, it's the lightest, you know, right here by the edge where that darker shadow is. Just something to consider. And you can see how sharp that shadow is right there and how it kind of fades as it gets further away from the object. So again, just stuff to think about, especially if you're not super familiar with like drawing in general. This is all good stuff to keep in mind. And you might notice things that I'm not noticing too, so feel free, like, anyone has an observation. My word is not the final say. I can't even figure out how to use a straight line tool. So again, if you guys have ever decided to think of me as a pro, you should stop that. Because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just showing up. Didn't even think about it, but then I got what I think was a tendonitis flare-up. Ooh. Essentially from whole days of drawing for weeks. Yeah, that's not good, Amaze. If you don't rest this is why we're always telling you to rest. Like, you're gonna break your body down, even if you mentally can do it. It's not about mental fortitude, you know? You gotta look out for these are your tools, man. You gotta keep them sharp. But yeah, I've definitely noticed that when I've had days of too much work, like too much drawing, I have like a little bit of soreness. And for a while there, I was having some numbness, which made me a little bit nervous. But speaking of, guys, let's do our carpal tunnel stretches. Thanks, Charzia. That makes me feel a little better, but I also wish I would have... I just didn't, yeah. I just haven't had time to do... Honestly, outside of streams, guys, most of what I've been doing when I'm not on stream is not really drawing, for the most part. Like, very rarely do I get time to draw these days when I'm not streaming. And so I just feel like
like I need these studies really a lot, but I also wish I had more time to like fiddle with tools. Like it was on my list of things to do yesterday. Was like, hey, figure out the line tool in Krita before you stream. And I was here till 10 and didn't have time. Like, there's just other stuff I've got to get done. Ugh, so frustrating. I still need to do research on tires. That's the big one in my. That's just the thing I need to do in general. Yeah. Anyway, life's busy. I know I'm not unique in that, but it's. Thank you for letting me vent. Okay, now let's draw some more. And by the way, for anyone who's oops, I said I wasn't gonna color select. Let's not do that. So it's 11:15. Speaking of being busy, I'm gonna start looking at the studies that you guys have done in probably the next 5 minutes or so. So again, if you did a study that is not like a foundations study, if you decided to do something else, that's totally fine. I just want to keep reiterating, like, you don't have to do what I'm doing. This is just something I know I need to work on and think about more, and I know that there's a lot of folks who don't draw a lot that maybe feel intimidated sometimes. That's kind of the feeling I've been getting from a few folks, is that maybe don't feel like they're ready to participate in the draw-alongs, and I don't want anyone to feel that way. Like, this really should be something for all skill levels. If you are feeling inspired to draw and you want to share something, even if it's like your first time picking up a pencil, just know that that is, like, the fact that you're drawing along with, at least with me, I can't speak for everybody, but it very much encourages me to keep doing studies and to draw when, like, oh, other people are learning and doing this with me, and I don't know. I don't want anyone to feel like that, but hopefully a lesson like this that's super basic, hopefully a broader range of people can feel like it's approachable and want to give it a try. And this is a great way, like I said, to just start training your observation eye and to start thinking about the things you're looking at as objects or as three-dimensional forms, and not just fall into the habit of just copying all the time and thinking like that's how you draw. Because long term, that's not going to help you be a better imaginative artist. Like, you won't be able to draw from imagination as much if you spend all your time only doing like strict copying of reference pictures. But it depends on your goal too. Some people don't have any interest in drawing from imagination and just want to do realism, which is fine. But I still think that this helps you, even if you're only wanting to do hyperrealism. Because the more you can understand what you're studying, the faster you're going to go with your paintings and your works, and the more you're going to be able to kind of like manipulate a little bit and throw in extra details that are going to set your piece and your work apart from somebody who's just doing a strict copy. Yeah. Anyway, I have 2 Draw Me names. Yeah, I do. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I think we got one in from Suntroa at the beginning, so I got to do that one, and then I'll do the one that Moose just dropped. And then I'll do those after I finish this sphere, and then we'll look at what you guys are up to. Thank you guys for your patience on those. Oh, is this a Rue emote? Oh man, look at you guys. Everyone's making their own emotes. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I love the pop. The Rue pop. That's so cute. I should make one of those. I have such a long list of emotes I want to make. Oh, there's one from Moose. But I just don't have enough slots. I'll have to get rid of some emotes if I'm gonna make more. Okay. You streamed enough to get affiliate for the emotes a month ago and then threw in the towel. Oh, did you really? You're not gonna stream anymore? I mean, that's fair. Sometimes people just want the emotes. I get it. Streaming also can be a lot sometimes. I know a lot of people take breaks from it. I mean, heck, I took break for like years. before coming back this year and actually trying to get involved. It can be a lot. It does help me, especially find an excuse to draw, I think, right now, though. It's like, well, at least I drew something today, so I feel somewhat productive. But it felt horrible streaming too. Yeah. Aw, Paradox Moose. It is hard doing that void streaming. I understand. I remember first starting out, and yeah, it's rough when you start out. At least you had affiliate, though. A lot of people don't ever even make it that far. Or it takes them like a really long time. You have friends. It's also hard to find people who are on at the time that streaming is convenient for you. I know for me, there's a lot of times I wish I could hang out on more people's streams, but I find if I spend too much time on Twitch, I get nothing done. So most I can do most of the time is just lurk on people, and unfortunately sometimes I don't even have time to say hi. I just like pull it open just to be supportive, but then I can't always say stuff. But don't take it personally, that's all I can really say. At the same time, I have also felt that way before on streaming, so I get it. I remember when I first started, like way back when, especially back then, because I was so afraid of the internet, like I wasn't talking to people, like I just didn't try to meet anybody on Twitch or like make friends here, and so it was a lot of void streaming. Like just that's why I try, just streaming to nobody, basically, just having the camera on. And that's why I try to encourage, like, especially if you're a new streamer, like, post your stream when you go live. There's lots of Discords out there that have a stream share or a self-promo section. Feel free to use it. Yeah, I really like the scratchy texture in the reference. Oh, you guys can't even see my reference. I'm sorry. So I thought I would add it. Yeah. But I am getting a little caught up in that, and I have some animals I gotta draw. So here's what we're gonna do. Go behind this. I'm gonna just brighten up the background so you guys can see the contrast here. See, this is one of those times when I need to use my whole arm. I'm gonna be a responsible artist. Use my whole arm today. Or at least for that. It is harder. I think, somebody was saying it is harder digitally not to use, I think, not to just use your wrist. At least, maybe that was me. I don't know. That's how I feel. I definitely feel like I don't use my whole arm when I'm digital as much as I do when I'm traditional. I'm just adding a little bit of background values just to add some contrast to this so that the values I am trying to study really pop. Contrast. I really want to do a color theory foundations day. I think color theory is something that I'm super rusty on. I just need to do some basic color theory stuff and basic palettes, because I really haven't looked at color theory in a while. And I actually kind of want to talk to, I don't know if you guys know Charzia on Twitch. She's kind of on a stream break, speaking of stream hiatuses right now. But she does some fantastic color stuff. And I really want to get in on, like, I want to pick her brain a little bit. Oh, Tamu! Thank you so much. Talmu? Sorry if I said that wrong. Thank you so much for following. I really appreciate that so much. I'm trying to really pay attention to where I'm seeing, like, light and color variation, because even though this is like a flat object, you still have some of that, right? So try and look at that if you can. I'm just gonna add a little bit of texture to it as well. No, not. Did I say Charzia? I meant to say Chakuri. Did I say Charzia? I'm sorry. You have very similar names. No, there's a streamer who does a really cool, like, a color study group in her Discord. I need to get on there and see if she's still doing it while she's on a stream break. Let me see if I can. Chakuri. She's kind of streams randomly right now. Yeah, there she is. But she does fantastic portraiture and fantastic color work. And every time I look at her work, I'm just like, man, I need to understand color theory more. Yeah, check them out, Charzia. I think you'll really like her stuff. Sorry if I said your name. Charzia, just to clarify for anyone who's listening, is not on a stream break. If you guys haven't noticed already, sometimes the words in my head get a little bit garbled before they come out of my mouth, and it's not intentional to be confusing. I'll even think that I said, because I'll be thinking that I said the word I'm thinking, but my mouth said something different. Do you guys ever do that? Sometimes? Quiet maze. Yeah, okay, it's a lot. It's a lot. It happens a lot. I have gobbledygook mouth, okay? I can't say all the things I want to say sometimes. It's pretty bad. It does get worse when I'm tired. So there's definitely, I've noticed a correlation there. Okay, we're gonna leave it like this. Anyway, happens to you too. Thank you, Trizia. Solidarity. To all the gobbledygookers out there, solidarity. I see you. Oh, thanks. I do like the texture. It was fun to work on. I mean, looking at the sphere, I don't know if you guys can really see it because the reference is kind of blurry, but there's like a lot of scratches and stuff in this, and I wanted to look at them, you know? It's got that nice, like, little bit thick coat of paint over a wooden structure that has some scars. I don't know. I just like it. I feel like that'd be a really good thing to, like, I can remember these line textures and these little divots. You know, if I ever go to do, like, a detailed painting of, like, a wooden banister or something. Just stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that I want to emphasize as far as, like, how to study versus copy. Like, you gotta file it away in your creative bank account, right? We say that all the time. What are you noticing and how can you save it for later? Like, file it away. Don't just focus in the moment, but try to remember it for next time. And that's part of why doing repetitive things, like doing a quick study and then doing another one and then maybe even doing another one, and then I could even take this further if I wanted to and do one that's less of a study but more like using this as inspiration and like design a banister or a railing and then kind of like reference the texture and apply it. You know, there's ways to use references that aren't just a direct copy, and all of them are going to help you in various ways. Like, if you do spend a lot of time copying, the nice thing is you're going to be really good at picking out those details. So that's going to come really naturally to you. So I want to clarify, like, there's always, all of these skills have a place. You just want to be well-rounded, I think, is the trick. And I'm working on that. Like, I am not well-rounded enough, I think. Hopefully one day. Okay. Alright, I have some Draw Me and Animals to do, so I think I'm going to drop this here. I think that's good enough for now. You guys feel free to keep working as I'm doing my Draw Me an Animal if you'd like, but I have got 2 of these that I gotta get to. And I'm gonna say that's my study for the day. Very basic. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully any of that was helpful. Talking about contour lines. I tried to make it as broad as I could for like anybody who's at any stage of drawing. And I know we have a big mixed group, as always in the warm-up studies. But hopefully it was a helpful little mini talk on that. And I certainly have more to learn, obviously. We're all learning together. Hopefully that's the feeling. Let me see what the Draw Me and Animals are. And I'm gonna say you guys have 10 minutes left because I'm gonna have 2 Draw Me and Animals. It's gonna take at least 5 minutes for each one. I swear I had my where is it? Oh, there it is. Sorry. I lost all of my windows. Hold on. Okay. Here is one Draw Me an Animal. It's a symptom of your ADHD, and then you turn redder than you think. Aw, Slappy. You mean when you say the wrong thing? I do it all the time. I don't know if I have ADHD. I'm not officially diagnosed. If I do, I have learned to cope. But it's something I've always wondered. There are people in my family that have it. And I've read more and more they think some of that stuff is hereditary, so it's possible. Okay. Yeah. Okay, the first one is an Australian bustard. Do I remember what these things look like, though? I just know I watched a video recently of one doing a really cool call, and I want to show you guys that call. I think I posted it actually in Discord, maybe? I don't remember if I did. Australian bustard. Wow. Bustards are interesting little birds. They're not little, actually. A lot of them are kind of big. Okay, so the Australian bustard, I want to say... what does its face look like? I'm trying to think. I have not spent enough time. Like, I've looked a lot at the Cory bustard, but I haven't looked a lot at the Australian one. I want to say they have long, pointy beaks. It's a bird. It's definitely a bird. I don't remember... I think they have crest feathers, maybe? And I know the males have these really big, feathery, like... almost like a, what are they called? Like the grouse, when they like expand to make calls. Like whenever they're doing mating displays, they have like these big dewlaps, basically. But I do know that the bustard is like the largest. I think the Cory bustard specifically is the largest flying bird as far as like weight. It's like the largest bird that can fly. Can actually get airborne. I don't remember how long their beaks are. I also don't remember much about. There we go. We'll just say this is a bustard. Don't remember about their markings. We'll just say he looks intense. And I just remember they're very like brownish. It's like a brownish white, maybe? Oh no. Doing a still life was a mistake. There's too many light sources. You know, Sloppy, I think it's probably going to look really good, though. The fact that you're noticing where all the light is hitting is a good sign. That means you're using your observation skills. I don't know if I've said it in a while. Maybe I have. But all drawing is training your observation eye. So the more you can practice that, even if it's, like, complex, or if it feels intimidating, or if you hate the results. I don't feel like I've talked about the whole... Like, we're all here to just make bad drawings. Like, that's the goal of the art gym. we're just making bad drawings because you have to get through all the bad drawings to get to the ones that you actually like. And especially when you're doing something that you've never done before, you have to embrace that it's just gonna be a lot. And they say it takes like 1,000 bad drawings to make one good drawing, you know? You know, good and bad, that's all super subjective, right? Like, somebody can say, oh, I hate this, and you're like, that's the best thing I've ever seen. I wish I could do that. And that could be you for someone else, you know? But yeah, just, you know, embrace the badness. I'm proud of you for what it's worth. It's track lights, it's all track lights. Honestly, though, that can be really good for still lifes because then you can really emphasize a lot of the, like, intense lighting and stuff. Like, you can, I mean, not the intense lighting, you can emphasize, like, the starkness of shapes, or, like, you can really track, like, you can create a lot of intense lighting. But yeah, it would create a lot of bounce light, for sure, I think. And that would make things a little more complex. Alright, we're gonna say, since it lives in Australia, it kind of lives in maybe grassland, woodsy areas? I don't know. I don't actually know where in Australia they live. I'm assuming it's like a brushy, shrubby Australian sort of a forest. Okay. There's its environment, and I just remember it has like a pretty light front, and then like it gets darker behind. I don't know how accurate I'm getting this, but I am very excited to watch this video with you guys that I'm taking of. So for anyone who's here for the first time, draw me an animal. Draw Me an Animal is basically a game that we play where I have to draw an animal without looking at reference. So I have to draw from what I think, either from memory if I know what it is, or just guess what it looks like if I don't know what it is. And the only rule is no hints in chat. I do not remember what it's for. I'm gonna say that something like this is a Cory Bustard. Okay. I don't remember if they have orange feet or like bluish gray feet. Birds have whatever feet. There. Okay, we're gonna say this is a Cory Bustard, and he makes dinosaur sounds. That's the important piece. This is what they sound like. I promise you. I do know that. I don't know what it looks like, but I know what it sounds like. I watched a video on repeat a few days ago, or a few weeks ago maybe, of Cory Bustard. Anyway, this is what or not Cory Bustard, Australian Bustard. I just don't know if I got the feathers and stuff right, but this one, I think, is what an Australian Bustard looks like. What the heck? That isn't Okami. Well, listen, Kev. Kev, we played Okami. We played part of Okami already. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. Okay, Australian Bustard. Let's see what it looks like. You can't wait to do... Wait, hold on. You can't wait to get your sword and do sword studies? Oh man, me either, Slappy Salamander. I might have to hit you up for some nice photos of a sword study. That would be super cool. That'll be a great resource to have something like that. So we're gonna finish Okami? Well, you can vote on that if you'd like, Kev. It won't happen until we hit the goal, but if you click the little bits of cheese bar, there are 2 games that you can vote on right now. I can complete Journey, or I can keep working on Okami. And eventually, once I have a date that I'll have an opportunity to play again, I will make a poll, and I don't know how I'll do it yet, but we could do like a vote too, I guess. I don't know. I'm being indecisive. Well, I'll think about it later. All right, Australian Bustard. Why do I do this? What do you mean? What do I do what? Okay, so here's the Australian Bustard. It looks like I got somewhat close. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I even got the little eye spot, sort of. I wasn't sure if they had an eye spot. They kind of have an eye spot. This is an Australian Bustard, okay? So yeah, with the little black hair, got the feathers pretty darn close. Cool. So this is but to be fair, I just watched some videos about the Australian Bustard, but let's learn about it really quick before I watch the video. I'll show you why I'm so familiar, because I watched. They got the leg color wrong. I don't remember. Oh well. Yeah. I'll tell you. So let's learn about it first. So this is a large ground-dwelling bird that is common in grasslands, woodlands, and open agricultural country across northern Australia and New Guinea. Okay, cool. Stands about 1 meter high. So these are massive birds. And actually, bustards in general, like I was saying, I believe are the largest of the flying birds. This is a Cory Bustard, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is a Cory Bustard. This one lives in Africa. This is the largest flying bird. Like the largest bird that can actually fly, basically, is a Cory Bustard. But bustards in general, yeah, they're just like unique little kind of grousey looking. It almost looks like a grouse and a heron sort of like had a baby somehow. But basically, the Australian one, I think they're slightly smaller than the Cory Bustard, but 3 feet high is still pretty big. And the species is nomadic, flying to areas when food becomes plentiful and capable of traveling long distances. They were once widespread and common to the open plains of Australia, but became rare in regions that have been used for farming. The bustard is omnivorous, which means it eats animals and also plants. It's also commonly referred to as the plains turkey. So this is a good example of, like, had you written plains turkey as your animal instead of the Australian bustard, I probably would have just drawn like a sandy colored turkey. It's also called the bush turkey. Okay, interesting. It's the only Australian species of bustard, okay. Readily distinguishable by its size, long legs, and habits, while slowly striding across the plains. behavior. Okay, I wanted to get to the part where it talks about the males. Yeah, the voice. Okay, here we go. The habits of the birds are usually discreet and shy of any disturbance, so meaning they're really quiet normally. However, the display of males during the breeding season is a conspicuous performance that is accompanied by loud booming. Oh, it's more than just booming. The male is able to expand a sac at its neck to display their longer feathers as a swaying skirt, with the head held proud upward facing. The wings are pointed to the ground and the tail feathers arch over the back. They stride about an area while adopting this posture and emit deep roaring noises. Yes, they do. They challenge each other, but the direct conflict seen in smaller bustard species is rare with this bird. Okay. So they basically just bow up to each other. Alright, now you guys have to hear this roar. The dino roar, right, Suntroa? It is crazy. Have you seen it? Is that why you requested it, so that we could listen to it? Because it is pretty crazy. Alright, let's listen to the sound. If you've ever, I think I posted this in Discord and was like, if you've ever wondered if birds are dinosaurs. You saw the reel last night? Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, I'd never heard a bustard before, and I'd certainly never heard an Australian bustard. Apparently the Australian bustard is like the most dramatic, I think, of all of them, because I looked up a Cory bustard and they really don't make this sound. I don't know if this is the video I saw. Hold on, is this the right one? Here we go. This is the one, I think. Let's pause this song. So here you can see exactly that display that we just talked about. Let's see if we can hear it as well. So they enlarge a throat sac to make their feathers stand out. I don't know if this is the right video, actually. Is he gonna make a sound? Come on. I don't think this is... There we go. Do you guys hear that? Listen to it again. OMG, right? Right? There's some other reels that do a better job of displaying that. Here, let me see if I can pull up another one, because that one only had one. Sorry, I just closed everything. Hold on. I got too excited. I wonder if this is the one that I saw. Let's listen to this one. Okay, that last part was hoarse, but let's listen to it again. I don't know what that sound is. You guys, that is the craziest, most dinosaur noise I think I've ever heard out of a living animal. It's crazy. Anyway, you can look it up yourself. There's tons of videos out there. I think I posted one in Discord about it. But yeah, isn't it can you imagine like being out in the woods and hearing that? Holy cow. I would freak out. Aw, Out of Net. Thank you so much for those bits, friend. I appreciate you. Hold on. I broke everything on my stream because I accidentally minimized everything. How you doing, Out of Net? We are just doing a Draw Me an Animal right now. Those not look like they can fly, but yeah, they do. They do. You can also look up a video of them flying. Here, we'll look up a Cory bustard really fast, because those are really cool. These are the biggest animal that can fly. So these are massive. They're like over 3 feet tall. Huge wingspans. Here, this is the one that lives in Africa. There he goes. He's about to fly. Nice. Nice. Massive, massive bird. I think it's I don't know if it has the largest wingspan, but it is like the heaviest and possibly one of the tallest birds I think that can fly. It's just a big bird. Just a big bird. Anyway. I'm glad you're liking it, Out of Net. I'm glad you're liking it. Scientific fun facts about the scientific buster. Oh gosh. Watch where you're going, Buster. Yes. Tues, slightly taller than Casey. I'm not. I'm taller than 3 feet. I'm not the tallest person, but I'm taller than 3 feet, I will say. 3, the Australian bustard was able to grow so tall because they always ate all their vegetables, finished their homework, and went to bed on time so they could start. That's right. They were very responsible and listened to their mothers. I wonder if the name came from somebody mishearing an Australian swearing at the bird. I don't think so. I used to think bustards were buzzards. I remember I heard about them as a kid, and I always thought they were the same animal until I was a little older because they just sounded really similar. But I don't believe they're carrion eaters. They're actually hunters. My knowledge of animals is fast. What about a bit gold to finish Okami? You mean you want to pay me to finish Okami? Listen, if anybody wants to pay me to play a video game, that's a whole other conversation, but I'm not going to ask for that. Sloppy salamander. Yeah, you're not overreacting at all, Kev. Alright, I'm really behind. Let's see. Let's do the other Draw Me an Animal. Let me turn the music back on. Where did my thing go? I keep closing the wrong thing. Okay. A Gundy. A Gundy, I am not sure I know what that is. A Gundy, says Paradox Moose. Huh. I have no idea. I have no idea what a Gundy. I don't think I've ever heard that term before. Watch, we're gonna look at the animal and be like, oh, I know this, and I'm mad that I don't know it. Alright, well, but bit goals are fun! If I have a bit goal for anything right now, Sloppy Salamander, it would be to pay for tires on my car. Honestly. I have to buy tires. My tires are literally, like, you know the penny test that you can do? Oops, sorry, that water just made a weird sound. Where it's like you put the penny on your tread and then like there's not a whole lot left there, and that's how you know it's like supposed to be new tire time. Yeah, mine's like, you can see the wear bars on my tires. I took it into the shop and they were like, you got 4 years out of these tires? And I was like, oh boy. They were like, yeah, don't do another road trip on these tires. They're going to explode. It's like, okay, I will not. Yeah, Maze had to talk me out of buying a game that was on sale on Steam last night. I don't usually buy stuff I don't need, so I wasn't that tempted because it was still $15, which is still more money than I want to spend, but I was really tempted the other day when there was something on sale for like $2, and I was like, okay. I know I shouldn't, $2 doesn't sound like a lot, but if I do this a lot, where it's like a lot of $2 charges, they do add up, you know? Penny saved, guys, penny saved. I come from a German family, we're savers, okay? Apparently that's like a trope. I just learned about it recently. Anyhow, let's move on. So a Gundy. A bit fun for you guys. No, I feel really weird doing that. I don't know. I'll think about it. I have a Ko-fi where I have a printer goal. I don't feel as weird about like art stuff, but I feel weird just like, hey guys, help me afford my life. I don't know. I feel weird about that. I'll think about it. Okay. Yeah, maybe Sloppy Salamander. Oh no, not a Bundy. It's called a Gundy. A Bundy is something else, probably. Casey wants to buy Horizon and shoot giant. No, I don't even know what that is. Oh, is that what that game is? I actually don't know anything about Horizon Zero Dawn. It was Horizon Zero Dawn. All I know about that game is it has beautiful landscapes and a really cool character design for the main character. Like, I've seen some of the concept work. I think Loish worked on that game. But yeah, I had no idea that there were giant robot dinosaurs. I had no clue. Alright, we're gonna draw a Gundy. I'm trying to think if I even know what this is or have heard of it before. Feel free, always, guys, with this game, that you can look it up. And you could also draw along with me, just, don't give me any hints on what it is. A Gundy. Why do I feel like I know this? Is this like an antelope? I'm probably thinking of something else. A Gundy. I know what an agouti is. I have no idea. I have no idea what a Gundy is. Like, there's no clues here in this name. It's like Gundy Bear. Gundy Mouse. I have no clue. Okay, well, I'm just gonna draw something that could be called a Gundy, I suppose. So we're gonna say this is a Gundy, guys. I don't know. I keep thinking antelope for some reason, so I'm just gonna do that. So some type of ungulate. I'm gonna say this is a Gundy. This looks more like a sheep. That's fine. Doesn't matter. I don't know what it is anyway. So we're gonna learn about a new animal today, guys. I have no idea. I'm just gonna say some type of ungulate is what this is. Is it good, Ray of Sun? Yeah, the concept art looks phenomenal. And I was talking to a couple of art friends about this actually, who were like, you know what would be a really fun thing to do would be do like a virtual plein air study, and you could do it in video games. So you could do one of Journey, which we kind of did. I did one time, but I kind of want to do that still. Maybe we should do a study where it's like bring your own environment from a game or from a movie. Let's think more about that. But yeah, one of the games that came up was Horizon Zero Dawn. Another one that came up was Red Dead Redemption as a really pretty, just because it's so realistic and it like would be really good to do like virtual plein air. But that one's not as work safe or family friendly, I don't think. I think it's a little more violent and scary, right? So I was like, I don't know if I'd want to play that game. Look, fantasy violence against robot dinosaurs, that doesn't bother me. Even though I didn't know that's what that game was until just now. I made this more of a goat. It was supposed to be an antelope. It's a goat-alope, guys. I don't know what a Gundy is. Watch, it's gonna be like a primate or something. Horizon is amazingly beautiful, is it? Yeah, that's what everyone keeps telling me. So it was on sale last night for like $12, and so I was like, ooh, this is really, because I think it's on sale down from like $50 or something. It's like 75% off. But then I think it was Suntroa or somebody was telling me, oh, it'll go on sale again. Like, don't worry about it. It'll be back on sale in November. So it's like, okay. I try not to look at I don't know. I try not to look at Steam very often, but I was adding something. Oh, I was adding Hollow Knight, because that one keeps coming up too. People keep telling me to add Hollow Knight to the list. So I was adding Hollow Knight, and when I did that, I went to check and see if it made it on the list, if I did it right, and then I saw the sale. I was like, ooh, this is tempting. Maybe after I buy tires. And a printer. Was that you? I couldn't remember who it was. I'm sorry, Amaze. Amaze gets credit for everything, guys. You're currently playing Hollow Knight? Yeah. I think it was Corby was playing it last night on stream. And I remembered, I think it was Moose. Somebody. It looks, and if I give credit to the wrong person, I apologize. I called Chikuri Charzia earlier. Okay, Amaze? Don't take it personally. Yeah, it was you, and I thought you were part of it, Suntroa. Okay, so it wasn't just you, Amaze. Listen, I don't know. I was tired, and I was feeling impulsive. Alright. Okay. We're gonna say this is a Gundy. I don't know what it is. I'm excited to learn about it. I'm assuming it's a real, like, living, live animal, but I guess it could be an extinct animal. I don't know. I didn't even think about that. Okay, there we go. We drew a Gundy, I guess. I have no idea what this is. Give it yellow horns. Why not? It definitely looks like a goat now. Yeah, I think so. I think that's where I was reminded about it, was on Furby's stream. I don't know. My life is a blur. For real. I have no idea what I'm doing any day of the week, honestly. I finally cut up my work journal because I try to keep a log of like all the stuff that I get done so I can track my productivity and stuff, which I highly recommend, by the way, if anybody is trying to be productive. Do a time audit of yourself and just track, like, you know, at the end of my day, basically I write down like what I accomplished in that day and about how long it took. It really helps. It helps you see where you're spending your time. And anyway, I was behind by like a week, so I just guessed on a lot. I was like, well, I keep a to-do list where I can track stuff off, you know? And so I was able to reference that to-do list and be like, here's what I accomplished this day. I don't remember how long it took, but here's what I did. And, oh my gosh, HTMC! Hey, how's it going? How was your stream? Welcome in. We are doing a Draw Me an Animal challenge right now. If you have any art you want to share, I'd love to see. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for bringing everybody for a raid. I'd love to see what you're up to. I've got like 2 seconds left on this one, and then I'll introduce myself. But for anyone who's never seen this before, I think probably most of you have. But basically, somebody can request I draw an animal. I have to draw it from memory. And I can't look at reference. And if I don't know what it is, I have to guess, which is what I'm doing right now. I have no idea what a Gundy is. I just guessed it was some kind of ungulate. It was supposed to be an antelope, and I made it look more like a goat. But for all I know, it's like a lizard or bug or something. But it has a lovely background for a sky, so there you go. There's at least that. But yeah, if you have any art you want to share that's work safe, I'd love to see it. We're going to do the portion of this where I get to look up the animal and see what it is, which is always a good time. It's a shark? Is it really? Hold on. Let's see. It's not a shark. It is a rodent, though. Okay, so I got the color right, guys. I've never heard of this animal. All right, let's learn about it. So this is a Gundy. It is very funny. It reminds me of like a Mara. Or a pika, or a pika, actually. It kind of looks like a pika. I don't know how you, still don't know how you say that. So they're also called comb rats. I've also never heard of that. Interesting. Small, stocky rodents found in Africa. They live in rocky deserts across the northern parts of the continent. The family comprises 4 living genera, and 5 species. I wonder if, oh no, they're all called Gundys. I've just never heard of them. I wonder how closely related they are to pika. We'll look at something else here in a second, but let's read more about it. Local people in North Africa have always known about Gundys. However, they first came to notice in Western naturalists in 1774 and were given the name Gundy mice. While they are not regarded as pests, some people hunt them for food. Oh. They have only 4 toes on all feet. And the middle toes of their hind feet carry comb-like bristles, which earn them the name comb rat. Oh, I want to see their foot now. They have short tails, which are sometimes covered in a large fan of hair that aids in balancing as they move on the rocky and uneven environments. Look at them! Look at them all bunched up together, you guys. Oh my gosh, they're like chunky, short-eared rabbit hamsters. They're so cute. Aw. Okay. If a Gundy is threatened, it will run to the nearest rock crevice or play dead. Oh, interesting. While Gundys are generally slow, they can sprint when threatened. They can also climb up most vertical surfaces. Wow. According to DNA sequence study, the ancestors of the Gundys diverged from those of the Laotian rock rat around the Lutetian? I don't know how to say that. Some while ago. Fossils within this group have been found in Asia, dating back to the mid-Eocene. The Gundy fossils from the Pleistocene have been found in Asia. Oh, that's cool. Very cool. Man, the fossil record is so helpful for that. Okay, I want to see something really fast. I want to see how closely related these are to pika. Have you guys seen a pika before? So we have these in the Rocky Mountains. These are pika. They're really small, and they make really cute squeaky sounds. And they really like to eat cute plants. So they're just adorable. They can get long hair that looks like a wig. Oh, no way. Let's look up some more Gundy. But I want to see how closely related they are, because this is one of those things where they probably look really similar because they have adapted to like certain ecological niches or whatever, but probably just look superficially related but aren't actually related. But I'm really curious. Let's look up some more Gundy pictures. It really does kind of look like a prairie dog got its head stuck on a guinea pig. I'm not gonna lie. This is very funny. Look how chunky this one is. Aww, look at them giving little kisses. It really does look like a prairie dog, though. Oh my gosh. This is extremely... Oop, don't scroll too far on Google Images, guys. So cute. Okay, let's go to the One Zoom Tree of Life. This is one of my favorite life exploration tools that I found from Danny's streams. I look at this thing all the time. It is super helpful. So it's called One Zoom. I think it's just this. Let me see if that gets me there. Yeah. So if anyone wants to play with this, it's a super fun tool to just see how species are connected. Like what. Basically, this is like mostly up to date with what we know for current DNA of living animals. It doesn't have extinct animals, or at least not. It has some recently extinct animals on here, but not. It doesn't have like Ice Age animals or like dinosaurs for the most part. No dinosaurs that I'm aware of other than modern birds, but let's see. Pika. So you can type any animal in here, and it'll take you right to the place on the Tree of Life where this animal is, which is super cool. I really love this. It's also just fun to watch. So here's the pika. There's actually quite a few of them. Wow, I had no idea there were so many pika. That's cool. I don't know which one we have. This looks like ours. No, that's the large-eared pika. I don't know. Anyway, so this is the pika. So I can do that, and then I can type in a Gundy, and it'll like zoom to where the Gundy is on the Tree of Life. Let's see that. Oh, it did it really fast. Hold on, I wanted it to go slower. Let's see like a slow version of that, please. So it zooms out, like here's the Gundys down here. Oh, they're actually kind of close. That's really cool, actually. Raconial, thank you so much for that follow. I appreciate that. So, well, they're both in like the rodents and rabbits, but they're actually not too far from each other. I mean, they're still not in the same group, but the Gundy was like down here somewhere. Very cool. Well, anyway, that's very exciting. Thank you so much for sharing that, Moose. And oh, there's an ad. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. Thank you for letting the people know that there's an ad. But we are about to, once the ads are over, we're going to get into the show and tell portion. So if you can hear the sound of my voice, which I know it means you probably have Cheese by your name, but we're about to look at your pieces. Let me catch up on chat though, because I think I have some fun facts that we have to share. Hold on. Kev has some fun facts about the Gundy. One, not a Gungan. Honestly, Kev, that might be why I was thinking ungulate, because like that's kind of, let's see what a Gungan looks like again, because I feel like I might have been visualizing a Gungan a little. Oh no, I was not. No, what's the big oh no, is that called an AT-AT? What's that called in Star Wars? I think it's an AT-AT. Nope. What is the thing that Luke crawled into? You guys can tell I really love Star Wars. Star Wars Luke cocoon. I don't know what to type. Luke cocoon animal. Somebody in chat is probably yelling the name. Nope. None of these showed up. Oh, it's a tauntaun. That's what it is. Yeah, I was probably thinking of that. Anyway. What am I, a nerd? Yeah, maybe. Alright, let's read some more scientific fun facts. So it's not a tauntaun or a Gungan. Not affiliated with Jar Jar Binks, yes. Number 2, very pocketable, very portable. You can fit up to 5 in your pockets. Oh my gosh. You could probably fit more, but they do not like it. No, they would not. Number 3, unlike the Australian bustard, they do not make dinosaur sounds. They wish they could, though. Yeah, don't we all, Kev? Those are some good facts. Those are some good facts. Thank you for sharing them, as always. I appreciate you. Okay, let me pull up Discord. I think we have like 30 seconds until the ads are over. Thanks to anybody who's can't hear me but is stuck in them and is waiting them out. Rue says, oh my goodness, you just solved my how to pick a random animal issue. Yeah, oh my gosh. Rue, watch out, because seriously, that OneZoom website will suck up way more time than you anticipate if you spend too long. It's really interesting. It's like a visual encyclopedia of every animal that's alive right now that we know of, which is so cool. I mean, some of them don't have pictures. So like some of the really rare animals, like, oh, here, since we're in an ad. Guys, toothed whales are still blowing my mind. Like how little we know about toothed whales and how few pictures we actually have of toothed whales. Like, wait, am I thinking toothed whales? No, I'm thinking, no, I am thinking, what are they called? Are they beaked whales? They're the deep oceanic whales. Hold on. I have a whole section of them in my... Yeah, this is what I'm thinking of. Beaked whales. Beaked whales. Look at this. Look at this. It's all just like, well, we don't know. We have no idea. Like, we found dead ones. Here's a skull from one that's alive, but we just don't know what they look like. Like beaked whales, you guys. Beaked whales blow my mind. Like, we have so few. Like, here's an artist rendering of one, you know, that we probably referenced a corpse, because that's pretty much all they have of them, is like the ones that die and wash up to shore. And that's how we know they even exist. But it's so crazy. Like, these are the best photos. Like, try to find a picture of this beaked whale, you can't. It's so interesting. Like, look at this.
There's so few pictures. So just be aware, Rue, depending on where you go on the Tree of Life, some animals are so rare that it's like nobody knows. You know, nobody knows what they look like. But it is a really cool resource for sure. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you. Oh, back. Okay, good. Sorry, I was nerding out about beaked whales and the Tree of Life. Animal randomizers somehow come up with the same animals, and their pool isn't nearly large enough. No, yeah, enjoy, and if nothing else, hopefully you get to learn something about a new animal, possibly. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a very fun site. Okay, let's get over to the Discord. Hopefully everybody's had plenty of time to get their submissions in for the study, and remember, it can be any kind of a warm-up study. It doesn't have to be what I did today, but if you did a study that you want to share, feel free. But first, I'm going to scroll all the way back up to yesterday's study and basically just show anything that was below my post yesterday. So that's for anyone who's here for the first time. This is kind of how it works. You have basically until my next. Oh my gosh, we have a ton. Or you guys are really chatty. But yeah, basically you have until my next warm-up stream to submit your pieces if you'd like to participate in this. If anyone would like to join the Discord to participate, that's where you can go to do that. Just make sure that it's work safe. Like even with these figure studies, these are clothed models. So just make sure, if you do show the reference that you make sure that it's not something that's going to get me in trouble here on Twitch, or if somebody's like at work. I do try to have a work safe, oh, I don't know why I did that. That's mine. Family friendly shooting. Good job being work safe. Self. Okay. First one we have is a study from Corby. You don't have to have the reference, by the way, Corby. No worries. No worries. This looks great. Really nice job on the toes. And thank you for that shout out to Corby. Corby is an artist I've known for a while, but she just joined our Discord recently. So you guys will be seeing maybe some more work from her, which is really exciting. Really, really nice. These look great. Whatever these feet... What are these, like foot gloves? I don't even know what this would be. But they look really nice. And now I'm kind of curious to know what that reference picture was, because I kind of want to see them. It almost looks like a ballerina, like fancy ballerina footwear or something. This looks great, Corby. Thank you so much for sharing. Lovely study. And then a figure study as well. Fantastic job here. Looks really, really nice. Really good proportions. The anatomy is really, really nice. You do a good job with that for sure. Really, really well done. Yeah, you guys... Oh, thanks. Yeah, and go give Corby a follow, guys. A streamer here on Twitch. I think does game streams too, so plays a lot of horror games if I recall. So keep that in mind. And Rue, now that I think of it, maybe Corby wasn't playing Hollow Knight. Maybe Corby was just talking about Hollow Knight. So I could have lied to you on accident. I apologize. But yeah, go give Corby a follow. Oh my gosh, that's such a cute little emote. I love it. And then we have one from Rue here in chat, which you guys should definitely also go follow. Rue, I have to tell you, I saw this yesterday, and I like squealed so much when I saw these are Parasaurolophus, right? I was like, yeah, Parasaurolophus, they're so cute. And even if they're not, just let me believe that they are, because they look like little baby Parasaurolophus and they're adorable. I love these. You did a great job, guys. For anyone who's like, what is this? We did a blob challenge recently for I think it was last week, just to kind of stretch our shape language skills. I think we'll probably do another one. People seem to really, well, most people seem to really enjoy them, or at least get something out of them. So we might do some more. So I went ahead and posted another one of these prompts in the stream. If you want to find it, it's in the stream event chat section right over here. This is where you can post like references. Here's the awesome stuff that Charzia found on perspective and grid lines and stuff like that. And then I posted this one from an artist on Instagram called Valley Dweller that I found. So yeah, if you want to do some more, there's one there, but we may do more in the future. But Rue, these are great. Let's look at this little dog with its cute little hat. You have such a charming style, and I love the way you... Basically, this is like visual problem solving, right? So this is another really good, really good beginner entry level, like warming up into thinking creatively sort of a challenge too, but it's also great for people who draw all the time because it gives us an opportunity to draw shapes and draw things in shapes that we wouldn't normally draw, that maybe aren't our normal style or just aren't the way we normally solve problems. And I think that this kind of stuff can actually help you break down that, that elusive schema that we talk about sometimes. I love this. I love this little captain with a cat, the little awkward platypus, the cute little dog, this adorable, sweet little scene here. Is this a Sisyphus with a rock? This is fantastic. All of these look great. Of course, I love the Parasaurolophus. Thank you so much for sharing them. Oops, wrong place.
So happy I get to see him. Thank you. And then we have Suntroa here doing some gesture studies. I really enjoyed the gesture studies, actually. These are great 30-second gestures. Really nice line of action. I love the shapes you got in this one. That like drew my eye right away. But even like these like simple lines, you see, well, I can't get my words out. I'm too excited. You can see such like a strong grasp of proportion and action and movement. I feel like that's really the benefit of gesture, is it really like just kind of forces you to assess the person or the stance quickly and make quick decisions. 30 seconds is tough. I know, right? These are awesome. These are great. I love this one. Like these are so good. Yeah. Viva la gesture. Really, really nice. So we got a 5-minute one, a 1-minute one. This is a really nice one too. These look great, Suntroa. I hope you enjoyed them. Oh, this is a nice reference. Really nice. Wait, you did all of these traditionally? Holy cow, you're like next level over here. Look at that sketchbook. See, I do things digitally because then whoa. Aw, thank you so much, Azalace, for all the cheers. That was a lot of bits. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Wait, why are you doing more? What's going on? Azalace, what's happening? Thank you. Why are you doing them all individually? Oh, I really appreciate that, Azalace. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. That was very kind. How are you doing, by the way, Azalace? Thanks for being here. Zix, is it Zix Cricks? Those are fantastic little chibis, aren't they? Such a great job. Yeah, you guys, thank you for that shout out for Rue, by the way. You guys go follow Rue. And, only had 95. Oh, well, thank you for spending them here. I'm honored. And I appreciate your generosity. I hope you're having a good day. And Suntroa, I don't believe streams yet, but maybe one day. So if you want to give a preemptive follow to Suntroa, feel free to do that. Azalace is a game streamer, so if anybody is looking to meet more people who play games on Twitch, go follow Azalace. Get to know Azalace, and yeah, you guys can hang out with each other. Hey Siren, how you doing? We are looking at everybody's studies. So we did some like, oh, these are nice, Rue. This is what I was hoping somebody would understand what I was trying to say. I don't think I said it very well, but this is a great example of like trying to understand the three-dimensional form of a reference, and trying to help, especially if you're not used to thinking about drawing as something that's a little more sculptural or like three-dimensional. Hopefully drawing contour lines around the shapes, even like the skateboard here, you can see there's like a curve there that was captured. And so basically this is just trying to get you used to thinking about the dimensions of the objects you're drawing, so that when you go to actually make a drawing, you can keep those lines in mind. Like this could be where your shadows fall, or where how the light reflects. All of that's going to be impacted. These are great objects, by the way. I like this bowl of fruit. But yeah, this like your value is going to follow these lines, visually, even if you don't draw them every time. So I think this kind of thing, like I said, I tried to make this one as basic as I could, without getting too complex too fast. But we will come back probably and do like a 3-point and 2-point and 1-point perspective day, and I'll probably do it around. I'll try to be a little more prepared and like do it around buildings or something, because I think that would be really helpful too. But I'm glad that you were able to do this. These look awesome. I hope that they were helpful. Like I said, even if you're not somebody who's just starting drawing, I still think thinking about this stuff can help refresh your brain and kind of click some things in place. So, caught me at the tail end. Hey, that's all right. That's all right. I prefer to do gestures traditionally. Oh, nice. We were talking about arm movement earlier on stream, Suntroa. Were you here for that? Yeah. Do you use your full shoulder and arm, or do you just do your wrist? Because we were talking about how, at least for me, like digitally, I feel like I use my wrist more. I don't use my full arm as much as I probably should. These look great. Amaze coming in hot with a just jumping right into the buildings here. This is a great building study. See, Amaze knows how to use his perspective grids. No, you really didn't, Siren. You missed me struggling with the line tool in Krita. and yeah, that's all you missed. No, this wasn't really truly a perspective. I think I probably didn't title it. I was hoping we'd get to perspective, but it was really more about thinking about your reference as 3D is probably how I should have titled it. But this looks great, Amaze. Great boxes. It's just a stack of boxes, right? And again, that link at the top of chat, if anybody really wants to get more into drawing in 3D or just learn the foundations of drawing, I kind of pulled some of my images from, and some of the things I talked about today from DrawaBox. So one of the lessons is pinned up top. That was the one I pulled from, but that's something that I definitely, something that I definitely recommend if you are wanting to kind of level up your art skills. Amaze, you did a fantastic job here. No figure out perspective. So I did. It didn't work very well. Like the line tool kept making a weird bump every time I used it. And then when I zoomed in, it didn't do that anymore, which was weird. Anyway, Maze, this looks fantastic. Lovely, lovely study here of the crumbling building facade. And guys, if you're not following Maze, you know what to do. You know what to do. Give him a follow. He also streams art here on Twitch. We got a lot of streamers in chat today. Depends on how big you're drawing. On the iPad, it's usually more wrist. Yeah, that's probably fair. That's probably fair. Oh, this is a nice one right here in Guluru. Use those perspective lines to line up all the bits for the cylinder of the cup. Looks really nice. Well done. Well done. Did you use a perspective grid, or did you draw all of these with your line tool? I'm curious, Rue. But this is a great example, actually, of what you could do. And this is more of a, like Charzia was talking about, too, about using those vanishing points that we were talking about very briefly to actually line up your object to keep it in perspective. Line tool, nice. I'm glad yours worked. Glad yours worked, Rue. It looks great. I also just really like your reflections you got on the lid. Metal is tough to make look shiny. And also you can see how this cup kind of... Is this your actual drinking cup? That's really cool if it is. Basically, you can see how this cup kind of slants out at the top, like it's a little wider at the mouth. And so the shadow reflects that. So if you think back to like the... Actually, I'll pull up one of Rue's. If you think back to like these lines we talked about, your shadows and things are going to follow these contour lines, which is why it's sometimes helpful to think about them for things like that kind of warp, or if there's some foreshortening going on. Yeah, so you can see, even though there's not a line drawn here, you can see that contour line in the shadow. So again, if you're somebody who's like new to drawing or new to thinking about this stuff, that is definitely part of why we wanted to start with this one for our first foundations. I'm hoping it's helpful. But you can see a great example of it here. So well done, Rue. Excellent job. Excellent job. Oh, nice. These look great. Excuse me. Oh, really good. Really good contour lines here. You can almost use them like measurements too. But you can see these look, you might be tempted to think these are straight, but see how they have a slight curve to them. Right? Because this is a curved cylinder. It's an object like that. So it kind of helps you think about that, I guess, a little more. This looks fantastic. These are awesome. Nice, is this a broken one? Or no, the lid's just off. Did you find a reference of this, or did you use this to draw this blower one? I'm curious now, Suntroa. Either way, looks fantastic. I like that the liquid is spilling out. It's really, really nice. Really well done. I kind of feel like maybe you freehanded this one from imagination, or no? Maybe you have a reference. I don't know. Either way, it looks great. Great. If you did it from imagination, it's a great example of how to take what you've studied here and apply it to an imaginative drawing, right? Like once you've learned about the form of something and the structure of something, you can then take it and run with it. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Cool. Yeah, so exactly. That's a great example. Man, I love you guys are doing awesome. Thank you for being excellent examples. Much better than me and my broken line tool today. HDMZ, nice. Is this what you're working on stream, HDMZ? I don't think I ever saw a link to art from you. I usually like to show art from people who rate in, but I don't think I saw anything. Did I miss something? If anybody saw something, let me know. I don't think I did. I hope I didn't. We'll just show this, and you guys all go follow HDMZ, who rated us and was also streaming. These are fantastic. Oh, nice boxes. Look at these boxes, guys. Very, very cool. And a nice way to kind of apply that box concept to a car. So if you draw a big box, the idea being, right, that if you draw a box around any object, you can kind of find all the lines that you need as long as you keep those perspective lines in mind, right? So like if there's a box here, you can draw like that's the perspective line, so that box becomes your like here's my vanishing point here, here's my vanishing point here, and then you can kind of figure out all the pieces and make more precise drawings. With the long-term goal being to be able to more like muscle memory freehand that, but when you're first starting out, it's a lot easier and it helps your brain kind of get, I'm preaching to myself right here because I don't do this enough, but it helps your brain kind of get into that mode of looking for those lines naturally as you're drawing and studying. So fantastic one. This is a great study, H. Newsy. Thank you so much for sharing. I love it. Man, everybody did so good with this. I wasn't really sure how this would go because I know it's like a really different sort of a warm-up for us, but it looks fantastic. Oh my gosh, Slappy Salamander, is this your still life? Slappy Salamander. Holy cow. Like, you did a really good job on this. How do I need to find it there. Slappy Salamander, this looks awesome. Really well done. Is this, I can't remember if you've participated or not before, but I think you did a fantastic job with this. Like, really good job paying attention to those shadows. Let's see if we can pick them out here. Yeah. Oh, and you had a tough one too because it has all that distracting text and stuff. This looks really, really nice. Is this just at work? Oh my gosh, I love this so much. I love everything about this. I love the fact that you did a study with us. I love that you looked so carefully at the values and really, really looked like you can tell you weren't just drawing from imagination. You were really observing. And I love that you did it at work. If you did, that's amazing. That's kind of my hope for this stream, honestly, is like these warm-ups. The idea is like the challenge is to just try and find 30 minutes a day to draw something. And over time, that 30 minutes of observational drawing is going to eventually improve you, and you're going to notice a lot of jumps in skill. Like, you can take the values and stuff that you learned from this and apply it to a drawing of a person sometime, or a drawing of an object, or your sword. You know, when you get your awesome sword that you're going to totally show us pictures of. It's a slow day at work. That's awesome. I love that you did it at work. I need to take a leaf out of your book, Slappy Salamander, and really like commit myself to doing more observational drawing when I'm at work. Even though I don't have as much time, I still feel like there's a little bit of downtime every once in a while that I could use better. Just don't. Really, really nice. Thank you so much for drawing along. Raccoonile, I'm so sorry. Welcome on in, and the next study is going to be on Monday. But if you do any studies between now and Monday, you can always post them in the Discord in the warm-up studies section. That's where I'm looking right now. And I'll show them at the end of that stream. So it doesn't have to be like, if you want to do this, that's totally fine. If you want to do some contour studies or some object studies, go for it. If you want to do some perspective studies, or if you just want to do something totally different, you're always welcome to post any work-safe studies in the warm-up studies section. Just any study? Yeah, you could. We also have a stream schedule, so if you want to look ahead to see what the study is going to be, let's see. We're doing rhinos on Monday. Excellent. I love rhinos. But like I always say, if you don't feel like drawing the thing that I'm drawing or the thing that I have planned, like all this stuff is different, right? So I don't expect everybody to do the exact same thing. The whole point of this is just to encourage artists to draw together. I take it you're an artist? If so, welcome. Even if you're not, welcome anyway. But yeah, we'd love to have you participate if you'd like, or just hang out and watch and get inspired. We have Charzia here. Oh, cool. So it looks like Charzia actually gave us a video of how she got here, which is going to be awesome to watch, I'm sure. So perfect example of what Charzia was talking about, using a box and using perspective lines to make an object, right? Obviously, way more practiced at this than I am because she actually got her lines to work and be straight. But that's a great way to think about how to make sure you're drawing like a cylinder or even a round object in perspective. It doesn't have to just be boxes. This looks fantastic. Thank you so much, Charzia, for sharing the video too and taking that. You didn't have to do that extra step, and that's awesome that you did. Your work is fantastic, as always, guys. If you're not following Charzia, by the way, you guys are missing out. I'm telling you, Charzia is like way too powerful. Way too powerful. Really, really nice study. Does great work. You guys will love hanging out on stream with Charzia, I promise. Pickles! This looks so good! This looks so good. Thank you so much for sharing and for sharing your expertise with us. I know you do a lot more perspective drawing than I do, for sure. And thanks again for dropping. This is to anybody too. If you guys ever have good references that'll help with any study topics that we're talking about, you can always post them in the stream event chat. But if you need more tips on that, Charzia has posted some really nice studies of how to get good ellipses at various angles in perspective. So thanks again for doing that. It's awesome. I'll have to pin some of those. Cool. Let's move down to Ray of Sun here. Did some doggo studies. So like you can see, Raccoon, Ray of Sun did some doggos, which is totally fine. You don't have to do what we're doing. It's just the whole idea is to encourage each other. These look great. Ray of Sun. Oh, such good structural drawing here. I mean, you can see all the shapes too. Like you can see the boxes, the lines, like the muscles that were put into place. These are fantastic studies. Really, really nicely done. And again, you can tell like the point of it isn't to exactly copy, but really just to understand the anatomy of the creature. Especially with these, like, yeah, super, super good, Ray of Sun. Thank you so much. Now you want some pickles? You can have mine. I don't like pickles. It's like the one food I don't eat is pickles. Yeah, vinegar. I just don't like vinegar, really. These look great, and it's cool. It's always interesting to me that you put your time, too, just to give us an idea of how long it took you. Or maybe to give yourself an idea. I know Shiratoshi does that too whenever he's drawing. These look great. These look awesome. I love the textures you got into the wolf face over here. Really paying attention to all the different like bits of fur and like what to include and what to eliminate. That's also something that we haven't talked about a lot. But when you're doing a study, like drawing every single hair, you're gonna lose your mind. It's gonna take a long time. You have to kind of figure out what shapes to include and what to leave out, what lines to imply shape and what to leave out. And I think you did a great job with that here. Makes it very readable. Very, very nicely done. Okay. And we had a lot today. Beets! Oh my gosh, cheese. Beets. I saw this and my stomach like immediately rumbled. I'm so hungry right now. Oh. This is the most delicious art. Oh, it looks so good though, 2 beets. I love your textures. These are actually really good shape studies as well. These are all basically like it's a basic shape. It's either like a basic triangle or a cheese wheel, you know, which is a 3-dimensional circle, basically. So these are excellent. Really nice values, too. I like how you paid attention to the light coming off of these. Really, really nicely done. I know cheese! Gonna go eat cheese right now. Yeah, I wish I had some cheese. I'm all out of cheese, guys. I'm all out of cheese. Maybe one day. But beets, this looks fantastic. I love them. I like the strong lighting too. Really, really nice. You're doing such good stuff. It's so fun watching your art progress, Beets. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. Oh, and here's an old one. Yeah, doing the contour lines to look at the shark. That's okay. It doesn't have to be a most recent. This is awesome. Yeah, so you can see it's exactly. So you did this before then. So you just basically draw, like think about the volume of the object by drawing over it if you need to. This corner of Twitch is also the cheesy say. Yes, it is. Yes, indeed. I know, over here being modest, right? We all have a lot to learn, it's true. But man, some of us, some are learning on a curve. This looks great, Beats. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, the color matching is really good. These look awesome. Thank you guys so much for participating. And I hope it was a good one for you. I know it was really basic, probably for some folks, but hopefully it encouraged some people, even if you didn't draw along and share. If you even just picked up a pencil just to try today, but you weren't brave enough to share your piece, that is totally okay. I'm just proud of you for even attempting. Hopefully this was nice and basic and didn't intimidate anybody too much. Yeah, the shark's fin's a little bit, it's got a little bit of a rip to it. Yeah, something happens, some kind of injury. But yeah, thank you guys for, this is not a Gundy. Let's get this off. That's not what a Gundy is, guys. But thank you guys for drawing along today. We will do another one where we go more into like perspective grids. I was probably just a little ambitious. I'm still really curious about, does anyone know anything about orthographic drawings like this? I really want to do eventually do like a room interior where we like design an interior of a room. And I feel like an orthographic drawing would be really helpful for that. For like designing, kind of like, you know, you draw the layout from like what everything looks like from different sides. And then you can like design it. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like it'd be really interesting. But that's for another day. Anyway, this was the one I got to today. They have no foreshortening at all whatsoever. Wait, what? Yeah, these ones, you mean? Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for drawing along and for inspiring me to do more art. Oh, you kept tweaking it. Oh, here. So we have an updated one from Salamander. Hold on. And every line's at the same angle, yeah. I don't have a lot of experience doing... I don't think I've ever done an orthographic drawing. Why didn't this open? Hold on. Let's look at the updated one for Sloppy Salamander. This looks great, Sloppy. I'm so proud of you. I hope you're proud of you too. This looks awesome. Great study. Fantastic study. If you ever wanted to really challenge yourself, I bet you could draw all the angles in your store. But for now, like, I wouldn't jump right into that or else you'll never draw again because that's intimidating. But I think you did a great job. And I hope you feel like you did too. Thank you for sharing it with us. I'm going to post my study. I'll actually do it right now so I don't forget. But yeah, I'm going to post my little study right here in the chat. And then anything that is posted below my screenshot here is what I will show on stream on Monday. But I will be back today, just not doing warm-up studies. I'll be back in like 4 hours, a little less than 4 hours now, to do probably some more streaming stuff. We'll see. I might get tired of doing that and do something else on stream, so we'll see. We'll see how far I get, but I really do want to make some progress on my preparation for streaming. So, yeah. I'll be back in a little bit. So if you guys want to come back and hang out, you sure can, but you don't have to. Here is my schedule for anyone who needs it. And I'm gonna go find somebody to read into. Somebody doing some art and hopefully, whoops, not words on stream. There we go. And hopefully some work safe art to keep that going for anybody who's watching at work and doesn't want to get in trouble. Let's see what we got here. Could draw what? Oh, did I go quiet? I was just thinking about how the interior of your store probably has lots of lines. Like, you could probably draw, like, turn all the shelves into boxes or rectangles, you know? And, like, you could probably do, like, really intense... I feel like I would be intimidated to do it, but you could do, like, a really intense, study of your store. Yeah, draw some cheese or your lunch. I would love to see. That sounds delicious. Oh yeah, it would be good. It would be good. I would be intimidated for sure, but it would be good. Let's see who's drawing. Okay. I always try to find somebody we haven't rated before, or at least haven't rated in a while. And I always try to find people who are doing work safe stuff. Let's see who is online. Man, there's a lot of people on today. A lot of people playing games today. That's interesting. Let's see. There's a few family-friendly options on. Ooh. When was the last time we rated? Oh, you know what? You guys? I know where we should go. We haven't rated this person in a while, because normally they're not streaming, I think, at a time that I finish. Wait, where'd they go? Stinking, I'm so sorry, you guys. The new Twitch, I'm still not used to the new Twitch raid thing. I miss the old one. So much faster. You could see everything. Okay, let's go ahead. Do another quick little scan really fast. I don't see anyone else. Let's that we haven't rated recently anyway. Let's go right into Rock. We haven't rated Rock, Paper, Water in a while. Looks like he's been on, oh, he might be finishing. He's been on for 3 hours. I think he's still going. Let's go say hi to Rock, Paper, Water, guys. We haven't rated Rock in over a month. And he does great watercolor work. If you guys want to talk about somebody who does awesome studies, he's doing a series on owls right now. He's doing a beautiful painting of an owl. Yeah, he's still working. Okay, perfect. So let's go say hi to Rock. If you don't already follow him, go give him a follow. You won't regret it. And I'll see you guys maybe later today. Thanks, Amaze, for posting all my links. I appreciate it. If you guys need my socials or my Discord or anything, they're all in the chat. And, oh no, it might make you quit your job. Well, maybe don't do that then, Sloppy. But I appreciate you guys hanging out today, and hopefully I'll hang out with me for a little bit and say hi to Rock. I know it'll make his day.